button. What's going on, guys?
Before you do this.
Oh, we already did. Go say your piece. Say it in front of all of YouTube, Colin. Go ahead.
All right, I was gonna say, just give me like a little bit so I can finish leveling up. So I'm gonna do that super quick.
Hear that, guys? Colin sucks. What's going on? We're back for a session. I don't remember. We had a Christmas one. I think it's like 13 or 4. It doesn't matter. You guys know what it is. You're reading it. We're going to forgo... Well, no, we are not. We are not going to forgo the in-character reflection for the hero point because last session was a lot of fun. I don't know what we're going to do for Kane. We'll figure it out. 3, 4, 5.
I think that Christmas blows. They don't have Christmas in Ustalov.
Too many vampires.
But yeah, I just found out about Francis just found out about Christmas this year, and he's pretty sure that it sucks.
Fair enough. I understand that one completely. Anyway, Van, you are first. In character reflection for that hero point. Pogue Mahone, our little crazy halfling, go.
Yeah, you know, this cramp ass guy, like, there's always the old dudes like, hey, let's do a little cramp ass role playing and beat me up and bad for Christmas. But holy cow, what is up with that? Like, I'm not doing that anymore. And I learned how to like things not give me the creeps over the years. I mean, you know, being a slave from Cheliax, you learn to let a lot of things not creep you out, but. Oh my god, if one more person ever asks me that, I'm going to have to, like, change alignment or something. But props to Enderling because he's a massive badass, and I kind of like the aiding him and like, hey, big guy, take a swing, and then watching him do all the damage, because it sure as hell beats a halfling trying to intimidate somebody. So, and wow, I got some good loot. I got to see if I can sell some of the stuff that I just got back to Mercutio. But yeah, I'm glad to be back home and back to fighting some regular people and I was saving Lucia's ass last time. No, so now it's time to save her brother's ass, I guess.
Fair enough. You go ahead and take your hero point. Yeah, cousins. Thank you for reminding me. It's been a week since we did this. You get your hero point. You don't need it because you got a ring of protection +4 from the bad guy's body at level 6. But hey, whatever. We'll take it. Who's next? Boom. You already went, Van. You can't go again.
I'm going to go again for 2.
It's going to be 2 again. Watch. Nope. So, oh, that's you, Sarah. In character reflection for your hero point. You're no longer a wee little babby in chainmail.
Oh, but I was such a cute baby.
You might have been.
I guess Papa Mare just feels weird about being made into a baby because he still feels kind of like he's supposed to be like a badass dark lord of evil and stuff. And
even after being atoned.
I mean, yeah, it's still like there, you know.
Fair enough.
He still like feels like that's what he's supposed to be. It's kind of an awkward time.
His second puberty, if you will.
But being made into a baby makes him feel pretty, like, vulnerable. Obviously, that's what it's supposed to do. But it feels especially bad because he's supposed to be all cool and stuff and tough. And being intimidated and forced to run away. That's bad for him, too.
It is bad for everyone. Take your hero point, and next will be... We'll roll a 4 again. Nope. Colin, you're on.
Alright. Well, so I guess this Krampus figure is real and quite dangerous. We were able to take down his cleric, which is good. Hopefully it's his only cleric. That's fingers crossed here. But, man, I really need to get back on track. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do about Emmy. I gotta focus. I gotta figure out a way to save her. And wow, that was a crazy night. You know, I really hope that Pogue at least shares some of the loot with Enderling, because I mean, you know, we wouldn't have been able to take the guy down without Enderling's help. if Enderling hadn't intimidated him, he wouldn't have had anything to steal. Oh well.
Fair
How
enough.
much is Enderling
That's
paying you to say that?
Take your hero point, and I'm going to go ahead and I don't remember if I said this last session. I may have, so if I did, forgive me. But Joe, before you do your reflection, do take an action point because, like, you guys wouldn't have got through that fight as stunningly as you did without Joe's intimidation and role-playing powers. And now let's go to Enderling.
Okay. My prediction was wrong. So, truthfully, Enderling, it's probably a bit of a blur for him because he's getting closer and closer to when Captain Chaos, his second ego, will emerge. So what probably Enderling remembers is just the glory of scaring the bejesus out of this guy and just beating the crap out of him and his little flying friends. And that was cool. He really loved him. He just made it all up. And then just the elation of knowing that he killed someone, I guess, is really cool to him. Just because, like I said, Captain Chaos is a completely different kind of beast. I think really the only thing that's shown through is Enderling's love of the bartender. Just his ever-growing love. He just keeps finding her over and over again. Just, I'm going to bring this person with me because I'm ready.
Deal.
And I have the ego of a 15-year-old and a chaotic evil troll.
Fair enough. Take your hero point. We've heard enough from Kane about how Christmas sucks. So, Donald, take us home.
What's going through Lucia's mind at the moment? She enjoys the company she have.
Uh-huh. I'm not sure.
Sorry, I had internet lag for a moment.
Yeah, story of my life, dude. Go for it. Floor is yours.
Okay, so what's going through Lucia's mind? She actually, like the current group she's with so far, she is exploring different thinking process and philosophies with the people she is encountering so far. This is quite the nice academic pursuit she is on, especially figuring out what type of undead she wants to be to practice so far.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Take your hero point, and as I said last session, you guys find yourselves back at Fort Legos. About 24 hours have passed, and I'm going to say, before we actually kick things off here, the party, usually I'll pass out something for Christmas, but I think I've done good enough at buffing you guys lately, so I'm going to say, for Christmas, the party finds, in the, group loot, wherever that happens to be, a bag about the size, and I'm not just saying this because I can see one, but about the size of, a Crown Royal dice bag. You open it up, and, notice I said dice bag, not Crown Royal bag. But anyway, you open it up, and inside it, about halfway full, you guys find, flakes of gold dust, essentially. Kind of imagine if somebody had, taken, gold ore and, shaved it into a bag, essentially, for lack of a better way to word it. And in addition, next to that, you guys find a flute that appears to be made out of, maybe bone, maybe ivory, something along, I guess ivory is kind of, but whatever. You guys find a flute. You're not sure what either of these things do, but they are my Christmas present to the party. You can figure them out at your leisure. And here comes Dom with the checks. I'll figure it out.
Okay, I'm going to do a spellcraft to figure it out. So, would using my tools give me a bonus in this roll?
Yeah, sure.
What are your tools?
Oh, you know.
Just gonna wave a sex toy over it? Is that what you're trying to say, Tom?
What is this?
It vibrates.
22 for the
On a spellcraft check. Alright, the bag that has the gold dust in it, I'm not used to answering these kind of questions with the spellcraft check. You get the feeling like it's a lot more than just here's some gold, you can sell it for money, haha, stuff like that. I don't really know how to word this one in spellcraft ease.
So
You know. Hang on. You know that the Imperial Lord Tulk, who you guys met, who saved you guys at the end of last session, he's known to sometimes he will like assume the guise of a wanderer in need and travel around, and he'll leave flecks of gold like this, like under the pillows or in the shoes of people who like will take in this old man in from the cold, that kind of thing. As far as the flute goes, you get the feeling it's definitely a magic item, like akin to like a wand or like a staff with charges, something like that. You get the feeling it has one charge. Okay, there we go. I can do Knowledge Arcana. The flecks of gold, again, it's like Tulk will pass these out to people who like help him in his time of need, that kind of thing. And you imagine like this might represent like a boon from an Imperial Lord. It might represent just like things of that nature. And the flute definitely. You're not sure what, you're not sure who, but you get the feeling it'll summon something.
I'm going to hold on to this loot. I want to know what it does before I give it out.
Lucia immediately takes everyone's Christmas presents.
Well, I want to know what it does first. This could be a cursed item for me potentially.
Yeah, okay, Merry Christmas, here's a curse.
That's what Cheliax nobility does, right?
Yeah, of course.
Cheliax Christmas is people, nobles go around and they take your stuff.
I will give it out to the party once I know what it does exactly.
I'll take a look at it. I'm the conjuration specialist.
He is indeed.
Sure, have a look at it, see what it does.
It's gonna summon Mozart.
Pogue gives her a little wink, like, I'm just messing with you. Because that one was too easy.
That'd be a 29 spellcraft.
He's got a 29. Alright. The flute.
I know who made it.
Yeah, you definitely do. I'm trying to say it in a way that's not just like meta answers. And fuck it, you rolled high enough.
Here's the manufacturer's number on the bottom.
Yeah, the flute it has one charge after which the flute will break, but it will summon 4 will-o-wisps with 4 class levels yet to be determined, but probably rogue. Everybody who's not the person who's rolling knows why. It's just once summons 4, probably like will-o-wisp rogue 4, probably.
Okay.
The gold dust is just a one-shot universal favor from the Imperial Lord Tulk, who... because I know you haven't seen that far. Tulk is
I know who he is. He's an Imperial Lord of
like snow and stuff.
survival and like winter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jack Frost.
Yeah, or like even his holy symbol even kind of looks like a Rastal. Yeah, except he's CG. But yeah,
But isn't his obedience has like you have to like kneel
naked outdoors at night while dipping your hands in 2 bowls of tepid water. Slowly raise your hands above your head and hold them there until the water from both bowls has evaporated, and you get a +4 sacred bonus on saves against cold effects. We can probably miss that one, but yeah, I'm looking right at it.
Yeah, I have an oracle who venerates him.
Nah, fair enough. Alrighty, well, the floor is your guys'. As you guys, all of your troops have pretty much just stationed themselves at the fort. You guys, I don't know if anyone's noticed yet or not, but everybody who is not your Priest of Dalinidra has character sheets now. And when they go into combat, if somebody is like stationed, like last session when Francis is with the cavalry, when we go into combat, Francis would be rolling for the cavalry, directing them, stuff like that. Let me make entirely sure. You guys should be able to see all 3 of the sheets.
Yep. So I get
I can
the
indeed.
Okay.
scout infantry.
Yep, that is those guys.
When did that open?
Oh, because I clicked show to players. I guess that's what that does.
Yeah. All the show to players. If you're the listed DM, if you open a handout or something, it shows that handout to everyone.
No, fair enough.
Tommy, quick questions.
Whoa.
Quick question. How much time actually passed? I'm just figuring how rested we are still.
You guys probably aren't rested at all, except for like Francis. Francis is great, but well, no, you guys could. There was a damn Imperial Lord. You guys are fine. You've rested. You like somehow riding on reindeer across the Avistani sky at like Mach 5 for 8 hours or whatever. But probably on Mach 5 you'd get there in like 2 seconds. But you understand me. Was enough to like you guys feel fully rested.
Nice.
They're so soft. You can't help but just fall asleep.
Yeah.
Caribou with a fold-out sofa.
The most convenient of all fold-out sofas. Just pull out the thing's intestines. There you go. You're good.
Man,
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
All right. Well, the first thing that Pogue would like to do is hunt down Mercutio.
All right. It's not hard to do. The fort it's big enough to like you guys can move around comfortably, even though there's like 1,000 plus. Counting 2, 4, 1,000 plus 6 plus Mercutio and his gigantic magic wagon, and then the like 500 or so soldiers that have been here before.
So, how'd I do?
That's 24.
All right. Yeah. The Pogue says, Mercutio, so I bought these from you yesterday, but look at them. I just got some new ones that are even better. And they're not even scratched, man. Can you take these back and give me more money so I can get something even bigger and badder from you? Come on, dude. Hook a brother up.
Let's see what happens. Boom. Well, that's an odd percentage.
What?
I was gonna roll and see whatever percentage was how much you could get back from it. I'll well
24 versus a D100.
Oh no, he's not making a will save. I was rolling to see like the percentage of like what you could get back instead of just selling it for half.
Come on, diplomacy versus something.
Okay, fine. He will roll. I know what he adds. I don't have his sheet handy.
I mean,
Nice.
what can he get back if he trades it in for more credit? It's only good with
What?
Okay.
That's what you get for arguing with the GM.
Yeah, but I'll say you can get full price for it. I'll be nice. You've been nice to Mercutio this whole time, so yeah, sure. You can have your like 8,000 back or however much a ring of protection plus 1 is.
Yeah, the ring of protection and the amulet of natural armor.
Oh yeah.
So that's 4 back.
Because you're super buffed now.
Yeah.
That's what happens when the party circumvents a high-level encounter with the cunning use of will-o-wisps. Who just happen to crit again and again and again and again and again.
So then he walks over to Enderling and says, "So, you fancy the bartender, huh?"
Aww.
You don't know that.
I don't.
Get out of here.
I don't know anything.
He looks at you side-eyed.
I might call a sense motive check. I don't know if it's necessarily opposed by a bluff. Yeah, no, he's not lying. Well, you can roll bluff if you want to, Joe.
Shit. There's no blessing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Enderling probably starts blushing really hard when you start talking about the bartender.
So Poke says, "Well, hey, man, I don't want to make you." So what?
I'm blue-green. Do I turn purple when I blush?
Yeah, I guess you would.
So Pogue senses that it doesn't want to offend him or anything. He says, "Well, I could be wrong about it, but if you ever change your mind and you think maybe you have a fancy for her and you want to talk to somebody that knows a little something about this kind of something, talk to your brother Pogue here. I'll help you out." And then kind of goes off with his hands behind his back, whistling a little. Leaves poor Enderling alone.
Enderling's probably working on building his flamethrower.
Yeah.
Working with this flamethrower and talking about bitches.
Roast. All
Oh.
right. Pogue has said his piece for the moment.
Pogue has said his piece for the moment. What's everybody else up to? there is still. I should say there's. Hang on. I should say like nothing has changed here. You know, like take off your battalion. It's pretty much just a skeleton crew holding this fort while people are looking for Lucia's cousin Yumil, who's wandered off into the border and got himself captured somewhere like across the map. Again, it's just kind of like humdrum and boring here, more or less. Everyone's just kind of like they're on edge. They're like guards are posted, but not a whole lot's going on.
I would probably talk to the clerics with us to see if I can use their divination power to locate my cousin.
Okay.
And I would give them the name, so we can help find him quicker.
Okay, roll me percentage dice if you would.
Oh, Tommy, do you want me to make a skill check on the crafting of the flamethrower?
Yeah, probably. Donald, you
Want magic item or alchemy?
your call, whichever's better. It's kind of the same.
It's the same.
Anyway, Donald, Ederling's crafting is successful now as a flamethrower, and that's scary. Donald, they try to scry him, they get a description, and they just kind of look back and shake their heads. And this is around the time that you realize that your cousin, along with a lot of, like, the upper echelon of Cheliax's nobility, have all been permanently mind-blanked, which means they cannot be, like, means of magical divination can't detect them.
Well, this would actually impress Lucia, as this is a pretty good tactic to be using, but I'm not going to say this out loud.
Mm-hmm. Like, you would know, like, you don't have this, but, like, your mom does, your dad does. Pretty much everybody, like, who's anybody in Cheliax is permanent mind blanked.
It sounds like you just walk through life in a day.
Okay, so
I
unless
was gonna ask, sorry, go ahead, Don.
for the rest of the downtime, I would go back to my tent making the magic armor.
Okay, sure.
I was gonna ask Mrs. LaCroix if she could actually upgrade some things for me.
Yes. Once I'm done enchanting my armor, I will get to yours next. And I would show you a very nice, fancy spider silk bodysuit armor I'm working on.
Bull.
Like, that sounds really illusory.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mic cut out for a moment, so what do you say?
I said that sounds kind of like illusory. Like, you can't. I'll show you my bodysuit later.
Ooh.
Well, it's a very nice suit of armor that I can wear, and it doesn't affect my performance all that much.
I don't know what year it is, but like I'm 35. I'm an old man. Like,
performance as in combat, it's fashionable and it's practical for armor.
Oh man.
everything still works the way it's supposed to, but you know, I'm not sure I'm ready. We barely know each other.
You're just digging yourself deeper and deeper.
Welcome to Pathfinder.
What item? So the item you want me to make, tell me what you want, and I will check with my guidebook if I can make it or not.
Well, and he removes this this big like bearskin cloak that he's been wearing. I was hoping you could reinforce this. It's mechanically it's a cloak of resistance +1, and I was hoping you could upgrade it to a +2 or 3.
Okay, so how much gold? So how much do you want me to? How much gold do you have, so I can cover the resources to make it for you?
Well, I still have all of it, Kevin.
So how much of that do you want to spend mechanically?
Well, to go from 1 to 2 would be $3,000 to buy it, and from 1 to 3, I believe.
Let me
Double check really quick.
pop open the table. Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head either here.
I think it's like 6,000. I think it's like 6,000 gold. I think.
I wanna say you're right.
149.
149.
9,000 plus 3. So the difference between 1,000 and 9,000 would be 8. So it would cost me 4 grand.
Okay, I will put that on my list to my item. I will collect Xenonu.
Perfect. Amazing. I could probably even help you make it.
I would appreciate that. Creating such powerful items, it's quite the lengthy process.
Oh, you know what they say, many hands make light work.
True. Maybe with the genie, with the multiverse merchant we have, I can show you some very good Cheliax vintages we can share while making items.
The multiverse what?
Multiverse merchants. I believe I can ask a few of them to buy very good vintages of wine for me.
Yeah, I feel like I require further explanation, but I'm not going to ask.
It's a. Oh yeah, you were here for this. Mercutio, like through his like connections and stuff. When you guys are buying from him, he has contacts all throughout the multiverse, and like through his like weird dimensional bags of holding ish like hand wavy and powerful GM items.
I'm still getting used to a setting where demi-planes everywhere is a thing.
Yeah.
The shop of many things.
Yeah, pretty much. On the card of many
Sure,
things.
That sounds dangerous as hell.
This is the first game in a long time the deck of many things hasn't played a major role. It's sitting, I can see it, we have it sleeved here at home, black crabby Ultra Pro sleeves, and it's just, natural one I'll draw from the deck, we'll see what happens.
No. Okay.
Good times for everybody.
I also wanted to ask Mercutio if I could get some magic drama.
And a merry 4th level fighter to you, sir.
Yeah, for sure. It's even better when that 4th level fighter is a character 2 levels lower than whatever you are. But you guys can buy whatever you want from Mercutio.
Okay.
Selling back is at 50% unless you roll a really high diplomacy check and a nat 20 something in your van. You get the idea.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just do that then.
All right, cool.
And then this can go. It'll come back around to me. I want to talk to the.
Yeah.
You said there's a Lamia in the cavalry?
Yeah, there's a. I didn't put her in the sheet, and she doesn't have stats, but she seems to be like the leader of them. They all like when they're moving around, she rides in the center, and all of these guys carry themselves with a. I don't remember exactly how I described it in their entry, but like these guys definitely think they're above most of the people they're riding with. That may be because these guys have been resisting the Imperials forever and ever and ever on the backs of their horses, or it may just be like their heritage and their like history of like from where you guys are now all the way up north to like Eobaria and back again. These guys have a history of like nomadic raiding and just kind of like it instills a "I'm better than you" mentality, and it kind of
There is a certain aura of gravitas, self-confidence, and
yeah, pretty much.
I got the word pomposity right, but I screwed up confidence.
We'll take it. So the floor is pretty much open. You guys can do whatever, whenever.
Yeah, we moved fast.
Okay. Well, does anyone else have anything to add? Cricket.
Is there any other business we want to move on?
I think I'm just ready to move on.
Yeah. It's, again, the whole world, like, you guys have a map. It's, you know if you were to go, like, southish, there would be lots of fighting and stuff somewhere. It's just kind of like, consider this home base, I guess, essentially, and that's where you guys are.
Okay. Is there? So I know when we showed up, we were talking about assaulting the Imperial forces
Mm-hmm.
that were attacking. Did I miss something? Did we never do that?
It never happened. What happened was we ended the session that you were at, and then the beginning of the next session was everyone make a perception check, everyone make a fort save, Krampus time, essentially. So, like, over here, 24 hours passed, everybody just returned to the fort. And they're basically just waiting on orders from you guys. You guys are the leaders. They, like, especially, and this is going to be really repetitive, and I'm going to get tired of saying it, but especially in the case of Lucia, like, these guys don't really have a lot of, like, outright overt respect for lots of people in the party. They, like, some of the newer people, probably Francis and maybe Emeritus, like, it's just kind of like that standoffish, like, yeah, you're here, we're fighting for the same cause kind of thing. Colin's reputation as the seer of Varisia precedes him by trait pretty much all across Galarion, as well as, like, Ennerling has definitely made a name for himself. Him and Pogue both. Like, Pogue was responsible for freeing everybody from a prison in Demiplanes, bringing back a lot of people safely. But Lucia is just kind of like, everybody's kind of waiting on Lucia to do something bad and betray the party so they can, like, shoot her, basically. But, again, still, like, they have their orders and they'll follow them. They follow you guys.
I'm fine with being some dude from Fantasy Russia.
Fair enough.
For now, until something crazy happens. Yeah, that's because I knew I had a sort of a plan for the cavalry, but I wasn't sure whether or not that had happened or not, so I kind of wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
Before I got a bunch of horses.
Yeah, nothing is my voice probably sounds really weird because my cat knocked over my mic and I'm moving it back. And now I'm going to take my cat and I'm going to move him away from the mic so he does not do that again. Achilles, go on. The plan hasn't changed. She's still, like, they'll defer to whoever amongst the party is with them. You give them orders, they'll follow them. You make a sense motive check, if you would, Kane.
Can certainly do that. I have a high wisdom, but I don't think I have any points in it. Oh, never mind, I do. 22.
So you get the feeling, like I said, for like the millionth time, these guys think they're better than everybody around them. And even like the horses kind of like, it seems like they're looking down their noses at you as you walk past. You get the feeling if things get super hairy, these guys might take their fate into their own hands, whether that means they'll do whatever they want or like, I won't go so far as to say, like, if things go sideways, they're going to betray the party or betray their revolution or anything like that. But you get the feeling they're going to follow your orders as long as it's, like, convenient for them and healthy for them, basically. Like, these guys are not going to, if you order a suicide charge, they're not going to do it.
Of course. Well, I mean, let it be known, horses are amazingly sturdy animals, but they're particularly prideful.
Fair enough.
Almost as prideful as the riders.
Like the riders.
Mm.
Do I know the captain's name?
Do you know the captain's name? I don't think she gave it. I don't know if she has a name. That's here.
I'll just ask her.
Random Arabic female name generator.
Don't Google it, it's bad. Random Arabic female.
That's probably not what we're trying to do. All those names are, I can't pronounce any of these. Get female names.
Those aren't probably going to be any better.
Damn it, Sarah. It'll be alright.
Of course not.
We'll call her, oh, none of these passed the Joe test. I'm in trouble. We'll do this one because it's funny. Her name is this.
No, Tony, no!
I'm not going to pronounce it because I can't do it with this. Well, everybody can't see.
No!
It would be
Medea the lady.
Her name is Medea. The random name generator has spoken.
No.
Alright, fairly well then, Medea.
Anyway, the floor is... Go ahead, Kane.
For better or worse, I seem to more or less be put in charge of the lot of you, and I don't want to get you murdered, but this is a war. And I need to know if you have a problem with the plan I've posited.
Does she have a problem with it? Let's see if she has a problem with it.
If you remember what it was I
It was- you had said spend a round archer shooting, and then once you guys had like peppered their ranks down, you wanted to charge in. That was it, right, Kane?
Yeah, I will force around to the other side to do a pass,
Mhm.
do a volley, and then come up on the flank of the infantry, charge in on either side of the infantry to sort of pincer in the forces. So
Sure.
they're squished into the middle where the infantry just like eviscerate them on foot.
Deal. Okay. She, you ask her what you ask her, when you say what you say. She kind of like, I'm not going to try to do it because I have fucking gunk in my throat. No, come off that. But she kind of like, not quite growls, not quite purrs. And she just kind of like, we will follow you. Even though, like, she's a humanoid woman from the waist up, her voice is really like, my voice will die. But it's very like cat-like and like, again, like, she's really, of all the people who are full of themselves, she is definitely the most full of themselves around here. You can, you don't need to make a check because you're a druid, and you see, like, her tail kind of, like, starts flicking the side of the ground.
Oh, very, very robotic. I only caught about half of that.
Ah, rough. Am I coming through now? Take that as a no?
Little.
A little. Rough.
It's like as soon as you start saying important stuff, you disappear.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. That's what I get for trying to have a game on the weekend where everybody's home and on the internet.
Bake the cheap pie.
The Lamia, again, like, you're a druid, you don't need to make a sense motive check to see a cat's tail, like, aggressively flapping itself against the ground, and you can see, like, annoyed animal, I guess, but, I mean, you know how cats are. Like, if this was a house cat and you were like, oh, hi, kitty, go pet, it would, like, go scratch the heck out of you, but, she just kind of, like, she says she will follow you, and she just kind of, like, crosses her arms.
I see. Well, if you won't be honest with me now, then perhaps you'll be more honest when we're all about to die. Then he'll leave.
Okay.
So each of us got 500 troops, correct? Or is that 500 between all of us?
You guys have...
Split up.
You can split however you want it. You guys have 500... No, you weren't here for this, were you?
Nope.
Okay, so you guys have...
Cavalry is only 200 horses.
Yeah, you guys have 500. Basically, the idea is, like, they're a little better than conscripts, but they're geared about like conscripts. It's dudes with, like, spears and wicker shields and brightly colored clothing, like you would see on, like, people that live in Qadira, essentially. They've got basic training. They know how to defend themselves. They have basic, like, survival training, I guess, lack of a better way to say it. Yeah. But they form the, like, brunt of your army. And you can see, like, maybe, like, 1 in every 50 of them-ish. That's not, like, the most, like, concrete of numbers, but about 1 in every 50 of them is wearing, like, scale mail and has, like, a crescent moon axe or, a scimitar or something to imply, like, captains or something like that. You guys have 200, you know that they are, they're nomads that live in Qadira and, like, central Kazmaron. They, 200 of them are mounted on horses, and there's a Lamia with them, and the other 200 are dressed in, like browns and grays and stuff like that, and they're all on foot carrying spears and bows, and they have these black veils hanging. Like, when it's time to do business, they don their veils and cover their, like, from the nose down, but otherwise they just kind of, like, hang at their sides. These guys also carry themselves, like, again, like, they're better than everybody around them, and you can see, especially the women that are hanging out in that group, they appear to have their own kind of, like, well, I don't need to flavor this one, they have their own kind of sign language, and whenever, like, this is especially true for anybody who's not Qadiran, whenever one of them walks by, they'll, like, make sign language at each other, and then they'll laugh about it, and, like, the men among this group, they'll see it and they don't pay it any mind, but it's like you guys get the feeling again, these guys are very like, we are better than you, this is our home, that kind of thing. You also have 100 priests of the Imperial Lord Dalinidra, who is a patron saint of the like battlefield healers, essentially. These guys are pacifists. These guys are like, everybody knows who Dalinidra is, and in theory the Imperials won't, like, if they get caught in the open, they won't just like gun them down. But they're basically just there to like stay back in camp and take care of you guys. And in addition, Mercutio is with you as well, and Mercutio, like, you guys have access to whatever you want to buy, essentially, as long as it's core, or as long as it's core, Jesus. As long as it's Paizo, you can access it through him. He's also your source of, like you guys got 10,000 gold. There was a bigger sum, but that went to, like, feeding you guys and making sure you guys have fresh water and stuff like that. Losing Mercutio means losing access to basically the Infinity Shop and also access to food and water.
Okay, and
So we get this cat.
plan was formulated by
I can't.
Francis, correct?
Do you want me to bring them
It was.
And that would apply to all of us.
upstairs?
If this is like the whole plan or just a plan for his troops.
If I remember correctly, it was. If I remember correctly, go ahead, Kane.
Sorry. It's primarily a plan for the cavalry to flank the infantry, because I assume the infantry is going in because they're going with Enderling, and I figure Enderling's primary battle strategy is to hit them.
Yes, and the primarily going to just charge them.
Yes, exactly. So the cavalry can outpace the infantry, lay in a volley to get their attention, and then come around the flanks of the infantry to sort of drive the force we're attacking into the middle, right where the infantry can get at them.
And do we have archers at all?
That would be the
The
cavalry.
scouts. Or the scouts.
Everybody has some kind of, like, vague missile capability. Your cavalry, like, you would know that the nomads that, like, the horse nomads that live in Qadira and live in Casberon and stuff, that's what their claim to fame is their horse archers. They ride in and they, like, shoot everybody with arrows, and then by the time the Imperials can organize a defense, they've disappeared into a sandstorm, essentially, and they just lather, rinse, repeat for ever and ever and ever, more or less. The scouts have short bows, and your infantry, they also have, like, some of them have javelins, slings, maybe, like, the odd short bow here and there. Mechanically speaking, all of these guys have character sheets if you want to see what they do and stuff.
Okay, got it. So if... So this is Francis's plan to help all of us. So I guess Xandu will spend some time. He'll do some automatic writing and do his divination with it. Not divination,
Augury?
augury, yes.
Okay. So what is the exact question?
Now I gotta think to make sure this is clear.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
It's always tricky.
Mm-hmm.
While having everyone, this is one idea how we can actually increase the troops number if everyone is okay using necromancy spells to increase our army number.
Now there it
is
is.
everyone okay with this option? I'm just asking now.
I would rather not.
Okay.
I'm super.
Wait, how does this work?
Hey, man.
Can
Can you close that? Bandwidth is getting shitty. Can you close all that?
No. With
Sorry.
any dead bodies we come across, I can make extra units that I can command to help us in the rebellion. And it's just a way to get extra bodies on our side using the necromancy spells I know.
And mechanically, Donald, again, will be making those as troops. And for the purpose of, like, how many you control and stuff, I sent you links for, like, Phalanx troop is a CR +2, Rabble is CR -1, stuff like that. You have access to all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm just asking everyone if it's a yes or no thing to do, to know what my limitation within the group is for those type of spells.
Oh, I don't agree with it. I think it's a perversion of the natural order.
Pogue
Enderling
is
doesn't care. As long
Pogue
as
is
they're not his own troops.
yeah. Well, Pogue is generally finds the necrophilia thing distasteful, but he's also a practical halfling, and so
Necrophilia?
No.
necromancy, necrophilia. He's a
Ooh.
courtesan. What do you mean? The
Go-
thing with
Why is
doing
everything
things.
with you dicks?
Who's gonna pay you? Who's paying you to have sex with dead
He's a
bodies?
courtesan. He's a courtesan.
Oh,
Well, I'm not
Wait.
going to pay him to have
freaky
sex
deakies
with
do
a
that
body.
too.
Lucium,
Tell you right now, it's not going to happen.
So I hear one vote no.
Over the plan,
Good.
Francis, could you go over the plan one more time so that I can make sure I get it correct when I am doing my writing?
Okay, so far as my understanding is, Enderling will lead the infantry down the middle, right? Then I will send half of my forces around front to do basically a volley and ditch, a shoot and shit. They'll come across the front of it, pepper them with arrows, come around the left side to flank our infantry, and then as the infantry comes down the middle, we'll have half the cavalry forces on the right, half the cavalry forces on the left, to form sort of a pincer on either side of the force we're attacking, right? To force them into the middle, where the infantry can just drill through the center mass of the opposing force, assumably with some support from the scouts if they want to fire some arrows in there or do whatever Pogue's doing, doing their Pogue thing.
Well-
Hopefully in the necrophilia.
Okay, so just a note, Zandu was writing all that down to make sure he had it.
Okay.
Is that with the affectation as well, or just the keynotes?
Huh?
Never mind.
No, he was writing it. He was trying to write it down verbatim.
So with the affectation, that's going to be a hell of a thing to auto-write.
Yeah.
Oh, with the affectation, no, it's just the. Sorry, I wasn't understanding what you were saying. He was writing down the numbers, the movements, etc., etc.
Oh, okay.
All right. So do we have?
Then,
Mhm.
on that paper, he will start with the question. Will the plan of attack, as written on this paper, lead to a successful victory in the battle? Or a decisive victory in the battle?
Okay. And with augury, I answer yes, no, or maybe, and that's it, right?
It's wheel,
Woe, or wheel and woe.
wheel and woe. And then normally there can be there's also nothing for it's not really more neutral results, like not good or bad or both.
Okay. You would probably get the both answer then. It's not clear, and both, I guess, is the best way I can say that. Yeah.
Okay. That is his automatic writing for the week. Then he will sort of discreetly communicate this with the people who are leading the charge, being the party members.
Okay.
Well, we damn well better make this a sure decisive victory, then, haven't we?
Yes, we'll have to do well. Unless there are other plans of attack we could go over. I can only do this so often, but
Well, next time we have Enderling, walk up to the massed army and intimidate them.
That seems to
Then
be
we'll see.
effective.
Jesus. Is that what we got? A decisive victory?
What? I'm sorry, I did not catch that.
I said, is that what we got? A decisive victory?
No, we got both.
We got a both.
Oh.
A wheel and a woe.
Mm.
A wheel and a woe.
Tit.
It could be just because this is or what.
Well, you know what? I was feeling pretty good about my plan up until now, and now I'm sort of wishing I had stuck around and endured that lame as scorn.
Well, maybe we would have been woe without. So
It is possible.
the fact that she didn't just sneer at you and kick you, put you out of her misery right away, that seems to be a good sign.
Well, I mean, she could have tried. I mean, I might be old, but I'm not exactly a...
This is my two cents on the matter. In one book I read, a good commander tried to keep casualties down to a single or a double-digit number. Casualties in the triple digits is a bad idea.
Well, obviously, you need to win the battle before we even step onto the battlefield, right?
You guys also know, I should note, that you're not necessarily trying to win anything so much as you are trying to find this Chelish prince who's found himself just conveniently in Qadira.
Well, I mean, what's the Galarian equivalent of Sun Tzu?
I should know this, but I don't.
Pogue my hog, baby. Pogue my hog.
How do we... Okay, Pogue. How do we orchestrate a tea ceremony, like, just outside of longbow range?
I don't remember.
Paul,
maybe.
maybe...
I do. That's what I'm talking about now.
Okay, there you go.
Paul, maybe we can have a tent and invite all of the enemy troops in, and you can entertain them.
I have a better idea.
I am solidly against that plan.
I am only joking, my commandant.
A tea party, huh? How about... Well, first we need to find out who the cousin is. And if we find out, and Pogue is sitting here tapping his... or walking around tapping his fingertips together in front of him, and he says... First, we find out where this cousin. Now, if he is with the Imperials, they seem to like you for some reason. Maybe tea party with you and their lead cousin, and me, of course, to bring the manners since you have none. But then what about this, what happens after the tea party, my friend? And he looks up then.
Having you along will definitely help having an extra pair of ears. If worst case scenario, we shouldn't burn any bridges that we do not regret later. Your plan to have a sound argument there, as long as we play to our advantage.
After the tea party.
Let's try to calm things between us and them, so they think we are allies. Or at least people they can rely upon. It doesn't hurt having a false disguise if we can use. A very good spy master, if they know how to use disguises properly, they can have many faces for many situations. Let's try to use those tactics to our benefit.
So clearly, I can see why you would be accepted by them.
Yes.
And you have an easy cover story because nobody likes you here. But what about me?
Let's just say, you want revenge on the rebellion? People always like a good revenge story, and having a enemy of my enemy always is quite useful to certain people.
Well, I guess if they could understand that I'm a man of the world and that the nobility is really where my bread is buttered, perhaps.
You could always make a cover story that you are trying to align yourself with one of the noble powers to make yourself a person of certain note in the world. Generally, the nobility like to have reliable people that they can rely upon, especially underlings that want to get to a certain rank in the world.
You know, though, I do want revenge on somebody. The revenge is good. And the nobility of Taldor, surely an intact empire would be better suited to my revenge scheme than rabble-rousing Dawnfires.
True,
They're not.
a house divided is not a house at all. A house united and reformed, that's another matter that may be of use in the future.
Well, what do you think, my martially inclined friends?
In the end, we don't have boats.
Here we go again.
Oh, good lord, again with the phone.
With the resources we be getting, we may be able to.
I don't intend to ally myself. I thought we were just having a tea party so that then we could attack them. Isn't that what we're doing?
That was my understanding of the next proposed plan.
It seems to me that we offer their game so that when we do meet them on the battlefield, we will have already won. Isn't that the case?
Any tactics we can use to play mind games or get them out of their mindset so they are less efficient on the battlefield is a great tactic to use if possible, such as sabotaging some of their resources in their camp.
Okay. Now, Lucia, what this cousin of yours? Why is he here, and would he come over to us?
GM, what do I know about my cousin exactly?
I would need some kind of dice roll.
So, let's see, knowledge.
Nobility.
Let's see, nobility work. 19.
All right, so you know, even before I factor in the 19, you know that Yumil is assuming, like, I don't remember, assuming like the current leadership in Cheliax like just gave up the ghost. Like right now, Yumil's dad would become the emperor of Cheliax, and if Yumil's dad dies, Yumil's brother takes over, and then if Yumil's brother dies, Yumil becomes the emperor. He is fourth in line presently to all of Cheliax, which everybody can see it on the stream, but I'll describe to everybody else. Basically, if you're familiar with the Inner Sea world map at all, it's all of like, think like where the mountains are that begin Andoran, essentially, and then just go west to the sea, and then north to like halfway up Varizia, more or less. Half of the whole de Belkzen is part of the Chelish Empire. Most of the orcs in the hold of Belkzen just kind of like live in caves and rabble rouse when they can. Everything in between there is firmly in their grasp, and he would be in control of it. You also know your cousin is an Azimar, which has put you guys in like politicalness, like in really low standing, because not only like are you from Cheliax, and somebody is born in the nobility as an Azimar, but Yumil's mother died in childbirth and could not be resurrected. So it's kind of like, yeah, I can't say a black, I guess it's a white mark on the like that particular part of the LaCroix family, because black marks are good for you guys. Yumil is very like introverted and very like he doesn't stand up for himself or speak up for much of anything. And I know I said this a couple sessions ago, but now that we're all here, at a very young age, there was a assassination attempt made on his life, and that assassination attempt was foiled by your father, and it got like twisted around in court in such a way that it made it out to where like Lucia's father was the one who like arranged the assassination, and he killed the assassin to try to cover it up, and it's brought again just like great shame upon House LaCroix. Ever since then, again, like Yumil is just a really quiet person. He could be here because it could be a sign of like the Chelish Empire organizing its defenses and sending them eastward. He could be here of his own accord. You're not really sure.
Do I know what his vices are so I can use them to get him to join us?
What his vices are?
Yes. Anything I can use to convince him to join us?
Blackmail.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I can use to have advantage to convince them to help us.
So Pogue with a knowledge check, nobility check of 23, does he know anything about the person maybe having a good side that might be able to be used to diplomatically convince him to come over to the light side? He's already got
you know that hang on, well, Donald knows off what I rolled. He doesn't really have any vices. He's so like, if he had them, he hasn't let anybody know because he's so like, he just keeps to himself most of the time. Pug would know that, like, who Yumil of House LaCroix is, but you know him like more as like combination, like this is an infamous like how did this happen in Cheliax kind of thing, as well as like I guess it's almost like a joke to other houses in Cheliax that he exists because again he's an Azimar. As far as bringing him over, for all you know, maybe that's what he came here for. It's hard to say.
Okay.
Both of you know that, like, unless he's, like, either trying to get himself killed or really join the rebellion, he probably isn't here alone. He certainly would have brought, like, a contingent of Hell Knights, and it's more common in Taldor to see somebody hire Ulfin and pay them just gobs and gobs of gold to serve as bodyguards. But Yumil's family employs Ulfin warriors as well.
Poe, let me see when we do meet up with him. Let me dig up what I can use on him to get them to join us.
Well,
It's been years since I actually talked to him, so I do not know what his...
Go on.
Get out there.
I think he died.
I had it like I'm used to better internet connection. So let me have a talk with them to see how I can use what leverage I have to get them to join us.
Okay. Well, my main... Sorry, go on.
Maybe we should figure out what his intentions are, where his soul is aligned.
I think first we should find him.
Yeah,
Because remember
Don't
the
need
whole...
to find him to do that.
Oh.
you guys know from two sessions ago, last session that was part of the main quest, you guys know that he had been captured by rebel forces, and in the process of like trying to extricate him, Kadira called across the border, and you guys are, I don't remember what I said, so I may be contradicting myself, but probably like an hour from the Taldor border, and like the Taldan phalanx has been mobilized to try to like recapture this prince, and it's gone from like we've allied forces have captured a Chelish prince and are going to do whatever it is they want to do with him to basically just chaos. No one knows where he is. You guys, again, like the information you had 2 sessions ago is now 24 hours older in game. So
Right. So
So the prince is who we're trying to rescue, who is also her cousin.
yeah, the prince is Lucy's cousins, right? And it's also like you're not necessarily like, I don't know what you guys are trying to do, but rescue is kind of like the
I'm
idea.
not sure what
euphemism a little bit.
Yeah, it might be
I'm not
rescue.
sure what the goal is here.
It might be rescue. It might be capture. It might be ransom. It might be execute. It can go a lot of different ways.
So I would assume him being a black mark or white mark, people would probably want him dead or out of the public sight, pretty much.
It's possible. Make a knowledge local check, Donald, would you?
So let me ask something just because my recollect is off.
Okay, sure.
They captured them or whatever, but then they stopped. Once they lost them, they stopped moving towards the border. And the original idea was that these people were supposed to be taking the refugees to a safe place.
Correct. They were taking them. You guys are, from where you are, it's a couple days march to get to the continent called Casmaron. But that's the idea, is at the moment, and again, this information is now 24 hours old, so you're not entirely sure what has and hasn't changed. But the idea at the beginning is just anybody who doesn't want to fight or can't fight, the rebellion is just escorting them to the safety of the Padishah Empire of Kalesh in Casmaron. I know that's a mouthful, but that is what it's called.
Tommy, so what role should I make?
Knowledge local. Knowledge local.
Okay.
Extra spicy.
Extra spicy.
I'm
So
confused.
who's leading this the forces that we've come across, that we've come upon?
23, Tom.
Okay, so there are definitely a lot of people in Cheliax who want Yumil dead because he's, again, it's a huge stain on the whole nation that one of the noble families produced an Azamar. But by that same token, it stands to reason that maybe there's, especially like his family, your family, might be willing to pay quite a bit of money to have him safely return to Cheliax.
Okay, I would tell Paul this knowledge. We may be able to use some of this to our advantage.
Now, let me see what Colin is up to up here. I don't know what prognostication does.
It's written down in there. It's a little cramped, but it's there.
Okay, did you roll?
I have not yet. I get a +2 bonus for one of my items.
Okay.
That was appraise, correct?
I think so.
Okay.
Or no, it's I make a secret sense motive check with a DC modified by hit dice. Okay.
Okay, Tommy, I would tell Paul this
Wait,
knowledge.
did I grab the right?
Let me get Colin before we go over to Donald. I see prognostication, and I see
That's it.
So it says.
Okay, and then there's a +2 to that from one of my items.
Okay, so I make a secret sense motive. Do I use your stuff? GM 9 times a secret.
So.
Okay, well, go ahead and just roll it. It's faster than asking for your mods and stuff. Well, you want to use that hero point?
Yeah, I'm trying to determine his alignment here, so that's only a DC 15.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try again. Hero point it.
Ah!
No.
Oh no.
Wait,
Well, that's not the roll he wanted. That's not. He rolled a
Click the
sleight of
wrong
hand. He
button.
needed a sense motive. He's good for now. I'm not good because my cat decided to attack my headphones.
Ah, so close.
Tasiker!
Yeah, but at least the game isn't over all of us.
Yeah.
What's his alignment? His alignment is... Oh, the army's here.
Yeah, you guys have all 1,000 of your troops. Anyway, so DC 14.
Quite barely miss it, I think.
Yeah, you do. You miss it.
Wait, hang on. Is that calculating right?
Could I have granted him assistance or something? Aid?
I don't think so. Not for this.
I'd have to... Yeah, okay.
Maybe if you were a psychic caster, or if you had the ability to do this, maybe. But
Okay, yeah, that's correct. I just barely miss it.
just barely, yeah.
Zandu, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can.
Because he's the only psychic caster.
Yeah, just missed it. Oh well.
Missed it by that
Wherever
much.
we are is Stan. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, we don't know what his alignment is. Maybe we should find him and ask him.
It's a thought.
It is a thought.
All right.
It is right.
Where's
Could
it?
I
Go ahead, Donald.
try to guess based upon his personality type?
Knowledge local check. Or local. Why did I say local? Knowledge nobility. Knowledge nobility. Dude, I need you to not be eating cereal right now. It's too loud. The mic hears it. You need
Okay,
to not
19
masturbate.
plus my marker on top.
You're not entirely sure. You know he's not known for like devilry like the rest of the nobility. You imagine like definitely not as evil as everybody else. You don't know if that necessarily makes him like a beacon of hope and light in Cheliax or like just some like introverted kid trying to make it through the world.
It's good enough for me. Let's go find him.
Yep, as long as he is not beyond the point of being unredeemable, we can convince him to join us.
Says the person who's evil.
Right.
There are different shades of evil that can be redeemed and not
You
redeemed.
know, lying is an important part of being evil.
Yeah.
Even good people can lie.
Yeah, guys.
Oh, I mean,
All right.
So if we're taking off in mass, again, I'm going to take us to the formation screen, which now looks terrible because I had to mess with a bunch of tokens, and I'm just not realizing that. So let me slap everything in there real quick.
Well,
The infantry is thick.
Because the infantry is 500 people.
where's our big? Where's the orc?
Augers, he is gone. Him and his war cat are not there.
What?
Yeah. And Mercutio's not either. And
It's bad.
your healers aren't. These guys aren't. These guys aren't.
Just us.
Just take them from us.
No, they weren't there because I put them on the board to see the tokens and like stretch them out and stuff. But the healer, I mean, you can have them travel with you, I guess, if you'd rather.
Don't we want to go in a small party to find him first?
I'll put these guys back for now. I guess I kind of assumed, didn't I?
If we are traveling in a tiny group, that would be easier to hide our presence compared to a bigger group, especially if people are trying to find us.
There's two posts on here.
Soldiers with us.
It's not a bad
I can
idea.
just 5 or 6.
Well, we won't be on a battlefield, then, will we? Do we really want to bring all of our soldiers?
Not all the way,
Okay.
but we don't want to keep them at base. Then they're just gonna be useless.
What about keeping within earshot range so they can come and aid us?
Not quite earshot.
Yeah. How about within a few hours travel?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now the poke that is there is the one I can't control.
Nah, I deleted the wrong one. Controlled by all players. Everyone be nice to that token. I just made controllable by everybody.
Never!
What, mine?
Yeah.
No. 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 No.
Put it down.
I'm not even doing it.
Yeah, I believe you. Not
it
at
was
all.
me.
God.
That one was me. I
Alright.
confess. I'll put it back.
If you'd like to go ahead and make the
Wait a
poke
minute, I can
token.
control everyone. No, wait, I can just control Papa Emeritus and Francis.
Hey!
I can control everyone but Enderling.
Oh, cool. Now I can. Now. Does that mean I have control of their character sheets?
All right, children,
No.
play nice. This is just here to set up formation. These should be a
Giving
lot
me too
bigger.
much power.
Everyone's become drunk with power.
I'm out of control.
I'm gonna stretch these guys bigger too.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Okay, it is not. So the rebellion. We are not the good guys anymore, being drunk with power.
Nope, we did it. We've segued off, and now we're all evil.
This is all I ever wanted.
No.
All of us have our evil egos now, and Lucia have our good ego now.
I mean, Enderling's a master chemist. He'll be a master chemist in 2 levels. He'll have an evil ego.
Uh-oh.
Captain Chaos.
I keep hearing that.
Dr. Chaos?
What? I didn't hear anything anyone said.
Captain Chaos.
Not to be confused with the professor.
Professor
I was
Chaos!
gonna say Professor Chaos.
That was a terrible Butters impression.
Tommy, I would have my familiar flying in the air being recon.
Okay, understood. So we'll take the familiar token and put it up here in the corner. This is just basically to set up how you guys want to advance and who does and who doesn't and what have you before we move forward.
So,
Just an idea, like, can we keep them within a place where they can see a spell like dancing lights as a
Semaphore?
signal?
Yeah, what's the range on that spell?
Dancing lights? I imagine it's like 40 feet plus something.
No, it's bigger than that. I'll just throw it out here just to look.
Okay.
Bam!
I'm curious. So do the army we have, do they have a periscope or something to see long distances?
They have one big ass periscope.
They all just like cram in.
I am just figuring out how they can see the light if the light doesn't have much of a light source to shine.
Dance?
And you also have...
It is dancing because Poe is dancing.
Yeah, okay. They don't have, like, periscopes as such, but, I mean, it's got a range of 160. You shoot that 160 feet straight up into the air, people are going to see it.
It's like a flare gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, cool. It's like a flare, pretty much.
That is correct.
For a
That can
minute.
be our signal for them to move in.
Okay.
If everyone agrees with that,
Yeah,
of course.
1,000 people making perception checks, so they definitely need to see it. Just 8 another. It's 1 plus 999 twos.
With the flare, we need to agree on a sign. So Batman had the bat sign. So what is the rebellion symbol now?
Sarenrae's holy symbol, which is imbued into everybody's palm.
Nice.
I don't know if I can make that with 4 lights, but
Just drive them really fast.
Concentrate on them forever and just, like, draw it.
There was
yeah,
such
they
a...
can move. They can move pretty fast, so maybe I can do that. Who knows?
100 feet per round. So you essentially get like 4 sparklers and you just go ham.
I love how there was just like 2 seconds of silence, and then someone was just like,
Yep.
nice. Or yeah, either Joe.
Okay.
It's me.
That's you.
Sounds like me.
Yup.
I'm ready to kill some people, so let's do
I'm ready to go sneak.
I am
Find some traps.
I am ready whenever when combat happens. Get to use fireball.
Right.
Again, I'm just waiting on like who's going where, how many who's are going wherever's, and then we go.
All right. So I think that the lineup is probably, at least if Joe's Fenderling's leading the infantry, that Pogue will kind of be with them, and then run off with the scouts or whatever, and they'll report back, and you know what I mean.
All right.
So they're supposed to be going ahead and looking for stuff, and then.
So I don't have stealth, but I can disguise. I can look like someone else.
Like a tree?
No, that's the druid who prepped tree shape.
Oh shit, I'm a tree!
I don't have to prep shit.
All of us. It is a shame that none of us had a greater disguise, or else we could all be someone else.
I'm already
and
someone
again-
else. Half of you guys don't even know what gender Pogue is.
Yeah.
It's a long con. I think I'm someone else, so how about that?
There you go.
Whenever I take drugs, I think I'm someone else.
You are someone else.
Alchemist probs.
Yeah.
Word. Tell me about it. You're preaching to the choir, bud.
He's his own dealer.
Basically.
I got me some disguised self.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
So right now I see a raven and a pogue and a scouts going ahead, and Enderling going with the main body.
I would accompany with the main body as more of a support role.
Okay.
When combat happens.
All right. So then I basically just need to hear from Sarah and Colin and Kane, and like as to what you guys are gonna do with everybody else.
I think Zandu is going to go with in the scouts so he can send a signal when they're ready, but he's going to be sort of in the back disguised.
Okay, sure. Sarah and Kane.
Could turn into a bird. That feels like an option.
I can get bigger.
That's what she said.
No.
What do you? Oh,
If
okay.
she says
so-
that, that's weird. not down.
If it's a she, it might actually be Pogue.
Yeah.
If Poe ever is confused of who he is, I could always make him a bout to make him one gender only.
All right, kids.
Pogue knows who he is.
It's a girdle, thank you, not a belt.
God.
Well, I could always intended to make a magic item and make a girdle of gender change for Poe.
No.
Yeah.
It looks like just a flap of skin, but there's a penis.
Whoa.
Oh, God.
Oh no. So I haven't heard from Kane. Haven't heard from Sarah.
I think I'll turn into a bird and help them scout.
Alrighty. Sarah,
We've hit the level where I can actually watch it now.
you did it
Ooh, bird!
I did it.
by not showing up. But
Woohoo!
what about you?
Yeah.
What about you, Sarah?
I can go with the troops,
You just want to be back with the main body.
just like mid to front area.
Okay, sure. Do you guys want your clerics to follow you out into the field, or do you want them to stay in the fort?
You can put them in the back.
Are we worried about the fort being taken over or anything?
Not really. It could. It stands to reason. But it's also like there's a skeleton crew there as well as walls. So,
Okay.
Like, if these guys get caught, like, out in the open, they can defend themselves. They're carrying, like, short swords and morning stars and things of that nature. But they're not competent fighters, like, in any way, shape, or form, really.
Okay. Well, let's go find them and bring them back quickly then.
Alright, fair enough. So we'll dance back over here. We'll use Pogue's token for the scouts, Enterling's token for the body. Yeah, seems good. How far in front of the main body do you guys want to be? 1 hex is 1 hour.
Okay. Probably maybe a hex or two.
A hex or two. So we'll go
Well,
here.
How far away can they see the dancing lights? Well, oh yeah, we also need to keep in mind how long it takes them to get there. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. It's they can probably see it from pretty far, especially like if you make it a different color. Imagine like fireworks,
Yeah, that's
Or-
what I was thinking.
or again like a flare gun. Just like make it some kind of like with like a really dark color to stand out against the light blue of the sky. They'll see it. Probably everybody from miles around will see it.
And I have a wasp that can fly back, I'm assuming, pretty quickly.
That is true.
I have a raven that can fly back as well.
And-
Maybe.
And everybody has a druid.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys want to be a couple hexes. You guys are, I think the people who should have them have control of their tokens. The board is yours. There is no initiative.
All right, well, I'm still looking at the marching order.
Okay. Oh, oops, my bad.
Everybody
Everybody else sees what I wanted them to see. There we go.
Oh, what do I see?
I can't find the bloody guide I was using.
So I should ask first, any of my scouts have survival? Did
They-
you put that into
They should.
their character sheet
I think I did.
or no?
Also, should I do my disguise self like around when we get there?
Let me see. I'm pretty sure these guys have survival.
Yeah, there's some.
I think I crossed
what
it.
did-
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, 26. Are we on the right path? Which way did he go?
You're not sure. As you guys get farther out from the fort, you start coming upon like discarded weapons. Not so much as like dead bodies or anything, but you can tell there have been like little minor skirmishes all over the place, pretty much.
Okay.
There's like footprints upon footprints upon footprints lead you to believe that there's been a lot of traffic through here. Agruz's Warcat, like, it's pretty hard. He could actually conceal them because he has hunter levels, but he's not right now. There's huge cat prints going through the grasslands. They look a little more recent than everything else. They're going west along, like, you guys see the road.
Like right here.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's no really, it's pretty quiet for like, we'll call it, I don't know if and I may be contradicting myself again, call me on it if I'm wrong, but I think it's like late, yeah, we're going to say it's like late spring. So for like a late spring, like 10 a.m.-ish, it's pretty quiet. Especially considering like,
Middle of winter.
it was the middle of winter a session ago when we needed it to be for a Christmas session.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, that was way far north.
Yeah, that was all the north. So now we're back in Kadira.
Right. The middle of winter is late spring here.
Mhm. You guys also, you can definitely, like, as you're moving through the hex you're moving through, you guys are going through foothills.
Mhm.
There's probably, like, sparse forests, you know, like, you can see them off to your south. There's definitely, like, enough trees to hide an army.
Okay. What do the scouts know about Demira up ahead?
If they can make a knowledge local check, roll it. Now that they have character sheets, I don't have to answer
I
this.
thought they were local.
They're local in the sense of, like, they're not from the lands of the Norm Kings.
Oh, their knowledge local sucks, so I'll use mine.
Okay.
Okay, they don't have any ranks in it.
Like, they don't live
we
in...
can have them aid.
Yeah. Here,
Well, no.
hero point?
Yeah.
They all have 1/200th of a hero point. They all use it.
Just like a lowercase h.
Our powers combined, we will not fuck up.
Pogue just starts like spirit bombing. I need your energy. You don't know a whole lot. It's just kind of a little bump in the road town. Essentially, it's probably about 1,000 people. It's Qadira is the backwater of the Empire for sure, and the Qadirans are treated that way. They have been for years and years and years and years. There's a lot of like mines and stuff throughout Qadira. A lot of like it's very mineral rich, and the Empire will pretty much whenever they want to take whatever they want to from the Qadirans for the glory of the Empire, and they get the scraps essentially. So nobody.
It's a Qadiran town, though.
Yeah, it's a Qadiran town. You guys are about an hour from the border. Technically, they're all like imperial towns, but there's a lot of like blatant racism between Taldans and Qadirans.
Okay.
Is it ours? Is it friendly?
You're not sure.
So I want to send unless somebody actually wants to fly back, I send the wasp. I tell the people with me that I think I want to send the wasp back to let them know that we're going to go investigate Demir. And
Well, is that where the prince are leading? Prince?
The prince could be anywhere.
But what we've seen so far is that the cat prints are leading along this road.
Oh, Prints, not Prince. Yeah, okay. He's just laying there. Found him!
Drunken.
All that like hours of prep time, and he's 2 hexes away from you guys passed out.
Right.
Poe, I could have my bird fly ahead and then scout for us.
I can fly ahead too. I think my perception might be better than your bird's.
Boom!
Eat shit.
All right.
Or you guys could both fly ahead.
Sure, I will have my bird check ahead.
I will welcome the bird company.
There he is. Alright, so what I'm hearing is Lucius Raven and Francis are going to fly to Demir.
Yeah, Francis,
Right.
the strange
alright.
old-looking eagle.
So I'm sending a wasp
It's a
back.
fat eagle.
I'm sending a wasp back to Enderling to let him know that we're going to approach Demir and ask him to bring up the troops, but not within sight of Demir, and we'll send, we'll send word.
Alright, so Joe and Donald and Sarah, what do you guys want to do about that?
What do you
And
want
this-
to do about that?
Now that you get that information and you guys know what's going on.
And the scouts are going to hang out up here in the foothill
I
and
mean,
before
we'll
us.
do that. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Okay. So let's
I'm willing to sit back and just have my familiar check things out for me.
okay, let's have Kane make a perception check.
I will do that.
I see the 21 and I see the 18.
Oh,
Oh, the bird's got the better perception.
2.
Nice.
I rolled a 2.
And he rolled an 11. Alright, so you guys,
Hero point.
yeah, now when it's not crucial.
Bird up.
You'd get a 22 if you burnt your hero point now, but I digress. You guys, I'm going to make another token because now,
I would just burn the hero point to re-roll.
whereas I know I have a raven hanging out somewhere. It's probably at the bottom. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, where is my raven? Because the map is wibbly wobbly and hours are passing and stuff. There we go. Boom. It's really big. Okay, so before Francis and, is it Marvin? Is that the name of your raven? Is that right?
Melvin.
Melvin, excuse me. Okay. Before Melvin and Francis get to Demir, you guys could like easily hear the sounds of combat. And well, hell, the scouts probably can too. Yeah. From where you guys are positioned, you buzz over the town and you can see in addition to men that look not unlike your infantry, just a little better equipped and with a little less like crappy spear and wicker shield, a little more like actual steel armor and like pikes and stuff are duking it out with people dressed more or less like your infantry, except they all have like from some of them might have it from like the tip of their spear, some of them might have it like woven into their clothing. You see like rainbow tassels all over the place. They're pretty evenly matched right now, but it could tip either way.
So, do I know what the tassel faction is? Is it the Taldor group?
You would need some kind of check.
Knowledge, history?
Go for it. $16. Okay, you it's awkward to have your familiar. Well, I mean, you guys have like empathic links and stuff. It's not that awkward. The rainbow tassels and stuff. It harkens back to your days in the prison where you guys rescued a Tien woman who dressed not unlike your scouts in that she would veil herself before she would go into combat. She was like priestess is the wrong word, but like a traveling warrior in service to Shellin. And you get the feeling that these people might be like under her command, or at least like she has something to do with the fact that they're all like having like all these rainbow tassels and stuff.
And then what is the other group they're in combat with?
The other group, they don't have a symbol. They're just kind of like they're dressed a little better than your guys, and instead of like crappy like wicker shields and stuff, they have like steel armor and steel shields. These are Kadiran forces in service to the Empire.
Okay, so I tell Poe what I see. So do you want to act and help the one faction out?
You know, your faction, allies. If that wasn't clear.
Allies, to help our allies out. So
wait, so one of the factions is part of our group?
Yeah.
Allies?
Yeah, I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. One of the two groups fighting is members of the rebellion. They just, like I said, they look like you guys, but they have rainbow tassels on all their stuff, which everybody who met her knows that they probably have some kind of relation with that wandering monk who worshipped Shellin that you guys found in the prison.
Did you see your cousin at all?
Do my familiar see their cousin or the orc?
Looking for your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, or see my cousin. See what my cousin look like.
I'll roll a percentage dice.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you do not.
It all just looks like dudes from up here.
Yes, all of the people, they look like tiny ants.
They all look like ants from up here. I think you're flying a little too high if they all look like ants.
Yeah, that's Melvin the Crow flying
Your
high.
crow is frozen solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the upper strata.
Yeah,
The
okay.
crowsicle.
You.
Let's talk Crow. Alright, so
Pogue and the scouts can definitely hear the sounds of combat coming from Demir as well.
Perhaps we may ambush them. Because they have no idea we're coming.
so alright, so I ask, hey, Druid.
Who's an hour away from you?
No wait, who was flying?
The druid. Lucius Familiar and Francis are both over yonder. I'm just using one token.
Oh,
I
so
have a
Francis,
name.
they haven't come. Francis hasn't
Hey,
come
druid!
My familiar can actually talk. So
back. Oh, okay.
so does your so I would assume in your form, can you actually talk common?
Talk common, boy. No, he can't. He can squawk intelligently, but he can't speak.
Okay,
So,
I
all right.
Open.
Okay, so is it possible for my Raven to so let's see, my bird knows bird being a bird. So could I make out what is being said?
I don't think you guys are talking. I'm confused.
Okay, so Francis can speak bird.
Okay.
Yeah, my bird is a bird, so I would assume there's a universal bird language.
There is not a universal bird language.
There is not.
Sylvan. Sylvan is the language of woodland creatures.
Yeah, but not devil ravens.
Oh, is this a special bird?
Yeah, it's as familiar.
Oh my!
Oh, this is what
My-
you get for having a special bird. You done fucked up my mojo.
My bird isn't a devil bird. He is just a normal raven.
For now. But I mean, you guys you don't have to communicate verbally. I think Francis is intelligent enough to see your raven go fly off somewhere and follow if he wants to. He's not gonna just sit there and just I'm a bird. Your intelligence doesn't dump when you wild shape. Oh my god.
Pog wants to know about the layout and everything, and if there's a way that we can approach the town.
Okay, knowledge local.
No, I'm asking. Oh, okay, I can do that too. But I was asking Lucia to ask the bird to ask the.
But Lucia is.
Oh, wait. Lucia's with Enderling, right?
Yeah. Here that's because we're all gonna get super confused. I'm gonna.
That
Xander.
helps me not at all. Then
So I would probably tell Poe what I see.
you can't
From-
tell
from-
me.
Yeah, you
You're
can't.
with Enderling.
Yeah.
You would have to fly back and tell you.
I thought I could know through the telepathic link.
You.
Oh, the bird could come and tell me.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yep. So
Okay, so there's.
I think my bird would come back, so shouldn't take that long.
So Raven comes back. He's talking to me in common. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So he tells me the bird tells me what's going on, and so then Poe wants to know from the Raven if there's a way to, if there's if there's a way to approach the town and come up behind the Imperials.
I think I still want to call for some kind of knowledge check.
Okay. Knowledge local?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Nice.
Do you want to use it here? Well, wait, this is you. Okay.
I already used mine.
You did. Okay, so you don't think so. It's a pretty open town. There's not you have line of sight for miles, basically, anywhere. It's that empty.
Okay.
But does Lucia's raven know?
I don't know. Does Lucia's Raven know?
He was just looking over,
Let's see, I'm
so
just
he's
thinking
got a
what-
good geography.
Let's see. Let's go with a wisdom check.
I mean, you can just roll a perception check. You don't starve yourself from that extra modifier. You can roll perception. Not percentage. Not percentage. Perception.
Perception, okay.
Yeah. Familiars are rolling
So,
58s again.
15.
The town is mostly there's enough buildings packed together that you imagine enough sneaky people can move through them, climb up them, duck through back alleys, things like that, to where you could have a little bit of an ambush chance. It's not very if you were to try to move the whole army through, yeah, probably not. But dumping your scouts in on them real quick would be just fine. Again, there's the two your allied forces and the Imperials that they are fighting. They're busy fighting each other. They don't necessarily have scouts or outriders or anything like that. This just seems to be a couple of minor skirmishing forces. If you were to send the scouts in, you'd be sending about the same number of troops. If you were to send in the army, you would have an overwhelming advantage.
So, how did Poe want to advance with this?
I think that Poe would like to excuse me use the scouts as archers and kind of come up and behind buildings and maybe go up to the second floor and shoot into.
Sorry.
All right.
Yes?
I didn't mean to make that noise. I was My cat just fucking freaked out. Trying to find him.
I think I made a mistake.
What?
The Leshy Wardens, I don't think can turn into animals.
Oh, well. Oops.
They
We
can
can...
only turn into plant creatures. So instead of an eagle, he has turned into a
Helicopter.
ego.
Helicopter!
Okay, so does it actually think it is does it identify as a helicopter now?
No, it does not
No,
identify.
instead of an eagle, he's turned into a Migo. Like, am I?
He's turned into an eldritch horror.
Yeah.
Fair enough, alright.
Right. Well, anyway, he doesn't. Pogue doesn't want to send the troops in as frontline people, but he thinks that and he asks the leader, the scouts, which for some reason I think is a she also.
Yeah.
That if she agrees that going in, perhaps and peppering the backside of the Imperials would be a good thing.
As soon as you turn and ask them, all 200 of them in unison veil themselves. They stop talking and just like look in the direction of the town and wait for you to move.
So, all right, folks, like, okay then. And then let's see if I can stealth in a little bit better than now that I've got my epic fails out of the way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Come on.
It is a shame that I cannot give my skill point to someone who actually needs it.
I'll let action points go around, but not hero points.
Okay, cool. I have one if we need to use it.
Okay, so I hear Pogue is going into Demir. The scouts are going into Demir. Is anybody else over there? Does Xandu want to? Does Francis want to stay there?
Xandu he will bring up the rear and provide magical assistance as needed.
Okay, sure.
My familiar would ask Poe if they want everyone in the back to come up as well to help.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess everyone in the rear move up to act as reinforcement if need be.
All right, so how that pans out is each one of these hexes, again, is an hour. So it would take you 2 hours to fly there, and it would take, assuming you take the road, Lucia and Enderling in the army and Emeritus would take 1-2 hours to reach the outskirts of the town.
Well, the psychic link between the crow and the...
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, it's still going to take you guys 2 hours to get there.
Right, right.
Do you want to wait on the whole main body of the forces to get there?
I think that they would just want to go in right now and just pepper but not engage.
Okay, sure.
So if they come after us, then we withdraw.
Okay, so let's get the scouts to roll stealth too, if we could, please. Xandu as well.
Did I roll disguise to be just a commoner?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Are we,
All right.
are we
26 for
preparing
me,
to
20
make
for
the
them.
Assault?
What's up, Kane?
Are we
20.
preparing to like make the assault?
I'm not quite sure.
So the plan for the scouts is just we're going to kind of seep into the back line of the bad guys of the Imperials and just sort of pepper them with arrows and harass them and that kind of thing to try and help the other side, but without... What the fuck?
They do, they do see you. If only just, they do see you.
Dang! Okay, I'm gonna fly back.
Alright, so we're not going to necessarily break out a board for this. What we're going to do is,
Crap.
because they've crit... How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this?
You all die.
You all die, no save. I'm not that mean.
Terrible hailstorm, eat shit.
What I'm gonna what I'm gonna say is oh god, I don't know what I'm gonna say. Well,
How do you crit? And then I oh, go ahead.
I'm pretty cool. That's how. We'll say one of the buildings that like you see one of your scouts like they have no problem scaling the side of the building, and then they start moving across the roof, and the roof gives out. And then as the roof gives out, it's like a cascade failure, and like a whole like crappy little street block like gives way. What we're gonna do, we'll roll initiative. Kind of. Yeah, we'll roll initiative. We can roll initiative for this. But first, I'm gonna give them a surprise round. They're gonna. What happens is you come at like kind of a 90-degree angle, I guess, to where like the main like skirmishes are happening. It's been a little bit of time at this point. It's not necessarily like hundreds and hundreds of people out in the streets killing each other so much as like people have gone into houses, conveniently not in the same block that just went down, but people have gone into houses and are like shooting back and forth at each other. You guys can hear there have been like a small handful of Taldan soldiers have come, and you can hear the crack of gunpowder as their firearms go off.
Oh, jeez.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, because Zandu wanted to move in too, Zandu, the scouts, and Pogue, all three make reflex saves. As like, they're a large initiative after the reflex save. First, they just like, they all see you, and they just like, well, not they all, but a large group of them see you guys, and they just fire in your direction. So, again, Zandu, Pogue, and the scouts, reflex save, if you would.
I'm trying to think if any of my special...
That's my hit dice again. Alright, so Pogue passes and takes nothing. Zandu passes and...
Sargon, I need to do
the folks.
scouts, right?
Yeah. They pass and take nothing, unless Zandu has evasion and I'm not aware of it. He passes and takes 4. And then we will take initiative,
Gotcha.
which I need to clear, don't I?
Yes.
Lucy is 90.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how that happened.
I have no idea how that went down. I have no clue.
That was an interesting...
It just gradually went up every turn.
Mm-hmm.
My initiative.
Just Pogue and Zandu and the scouts.
Damn the scouts. Oh, God. Do the scouts have an icon up here? Right, where are you?
I will. They are on the board. There's a lot of stuff popping up. They're way too big, but they're on the board.
Oh my God.
Did
The
they?
scouts go just barely before me.
Nice. These guys will go. We'll just do like that. Oh, oops.
And then me, then Zandu, it looks like.
Got it. Are they on the initiative tracker?
Um,
The scouts are not yet.
Okay. Their token is... I will... Right there.
right.
Well, we don't necessarily have to... They go first. I get it.
Right. Did you put them in?
Yeah. Did they roll a 10? Oh, they rolled a... I see.
No, they originally wrote a 17. They did 1708, and I did 1705.
Okay. Whoops.
So
I got it.
whatever.
Yeah, we can just do it like that. It doesn't have to look pretty. Alright, the scouts are first. It's basically like, as this is coming down, we can get...
Where'd it go?
Oh, oops.
There goes the initiative.
It's back. We got it. We're good.
And everything is gone.
The scouts are gone too. I broke the game.
Initiative tracker's back.
Rocks fall. Everyone dies.
Scouts are gone.
Done. Tommy.
Hang on.
Muted.
I am not muted.
Alright, I'm
Yeah, Tommy's
1705.
muted.
I don't know how I got muted in that whole exchange. That was... I don't know what just happened in my life.
Nice going, Tommy.
Right click. Thanks, Sarah. They rolled, and they are up here with the 0.
1708.
Good enough.
Only
Scouts are first. There we go.
Okay. There. Alright, now everybody's happy.
Yes.
Okay.
Pogue, you have control of the scouts.
They're mighty big and... Wait a minute. So... Do we have a map that we are on?
You don't have a map. This is we'll theater of the mind it
Okay.
since it's just like a quick
Okay.
skirmish.
Okay, so the quick skirmish, they're gonna all they're literally going to shoot and then take cover.
Okay, sure.
So I don't know.
What happens is you basically it's just kind of urban warfare at this point. People are ducked behind like overturned carts, inside
Right.
buildings, things like that. You just roll for the damage in the attack entry. It's like troop ranged or something, and then in the like flavor text bit is the description of what all they can do, and there's a DC there for the reflex save. I need to roll 16. There's no
This is AC.
there's no to hit because it just happens with troops. It's
Okay.
I put that in there to like be competent with
Okay.
Pathfinder. Plus we might need it. It's a
Right.
like I said. There's a in the like first box for your infantry. There's a DC under like
Okay.
bio and info. I'll dig it out for now for time. Reflex DC 16.
So I just hit the roll on it, right? Is that what it's supposed to do?
Yeah, we're just rolling to see what the damage is.
And the damage is 5.
Okay, so then I make a reflex save. And I add not much. Well, I didn't add much last time. It ended up being okay. Okay, yeah, they fail. Your guys begin firing like into the houses and into like over around barrels and stuff, and the arrows and the like some closer have javelins. They strike home and people start falling over dead.
Okay, and then I'm gonna take a shot with my bow.
Okay, so are we done with the scout's turn?
And then they just hide or whatever.
Okay.
And then-
So then have them make a stealth check.
okay. Well, I don't remember, how does cover work in.
It's a plus like 4, I think, maybe a little more than that.
So okay, so they'll do whatever in stealth.
Okay,
So 19 for them.
okay, got it. I'll make a reception in a second.
Meantime,
You do hit.
rolls, yeah, does 5.
Mhm.
Does he get sneak attack?
Oh,
Why not?
they haven't acted. They're flat-footed. Yeah, you do.
Okay, so I gotta get them right. I know this one. Hold on. Where's my sneak attack? Am I insane? I'm insane.
I know where it is. It's
1d6, right?
it's 3.
It's 3?
Yeah. Because you went up to level 6, so it should
Okay.
be. So they take 12 more. Got it. Okay. Yeah, you definitely eviscerate somebody. Well, you don't really eviscerate with the bow, but you get it.
Okay, well, yeah. Let's skewer somebody.
Yeah, someone is very dead.
I shoot through a door, and then the door opens, and there's this guy hanging off my bow.
Yeah,
Right, like old Western kind of thing.
that'll do.
And then I hide.
All right, got it. Then we will go to Xandu.
Alright, Xandu is probably the only one not hiding because his disguise is probably busted up from falling.
Mhm.
So, you know, he's gonna go at him with his void glass sickle.
Okay.
Whoopah!
Whoopah, indeed. They take 11 damage. Not bad for a sorcerer. Now someone gets eviscerated for sure. You like turn the corner and somebody doesn't see you and you just like slit his throat. He falls over. Is that all you got?
Yep, that's a standard action, so yeah.
Alrighty.
Does sleep work on troops, by the way?
It does not. Spells that affect a single target do not affect troops. Spells that affect area of effects like Fireball are damage and a half. They cannot be flanked, but you can catch them flat-footed is why you got the sneak attack.
Okay.
So they're gonna...
Well,
It's,
isn't sleep an area effect?
but it has a limited number of
It's
targets.
hit dice.
Yeah.
Number of hit dice. Okay.
So they're gonna try to see if they see you guys. Let me see what I wrote. There's a neg after you. It's like a neg 20 if you shoot and then try to hide after. So
They still can't see me.
they don't see Pogue, but I think they see the scouts.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So
Well,
what?
and the scouts are taking cover more than hiding, but
Mhm. So what we're gonna do is
Okay.
we're gonna. We can't see Pogue, but we see Zandu, and we see the scouts. So let's have the scouts make another reflex save, and let's have Zandu make a reflex save.
okay.
Oh wait, that's 2d6. Excuse me.
Oh baby.
Alrighty. Zandu passes with evasion and takes no damage. The scouts fail and take the full, yeah, sun-proof evasion. So the scouts take 7 damage.
Okay.
And then at end of turn, these guys, like, they definitely see Zandu and some soldiers, like, guys with pikes surround you, and they definitely see the scouts. You see them, like, break down doors or, like, move up, and some of them have pikes big enough to reach, like a little crabby building that somebody's climbed and stab up. And everybody at the end takes troop damage. Everybody except Pogue. Nobody sees Pogue. That much more damage. To expedite things. The allies fight back. I think the allies do enough to rout them. Yeah, they do. Okay, so this one round of surprise is enough for the guys with the rainbow tassels to like surge forward through the ruins of the buildings you guys knocked over, and it's enough for the remaining Imperial forces to retreat out into the grasslands. Everything gets really quiet. You get the feeling this is like the only. Well, you guys know you had flown over the place. In Demir, this was the only, the only source of resistance here. The place is safe now.
Resistance. Oh, okay.
The guys, allied forces turn to you. There's a lot of them. Everybody is at least a little hurt. Most people are like caked in blood. Their armor is like the rainbow tassels are still like they shine through with magical shell and power, but everything else is like you can tell these guys have been hard at it for a long time. They thank you. They recognize everybody who's here, and they look at you guys. It becomes like kind of organized chaos, I guess, as everybody starts to like funnel around you guys in a circle. General like, what's going on everywhere else? Have you heard from the commander? Have you heard from anyone? That kind of thing.
But, all right. So as this is going on, Pogue sends the wasp back to Enderling and relays the information of where the troops went, if anywhere, that we saw, and says, do what you want with the info and arresting in town.
Okay. So
the scouts got hit kind of hard.
Yeah. So we want to rest for the couple hours to get everybody there? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, that's what the Pogue and the scouts are doing. Now, if these people are fleeing towards Enderling, then
they're fleeing like mechanically speaking, they are defeated because they're out of hit points. There's probably still probably dozens of them running out into the grassland. If you want me to make a board and you want to go like great cleaving crappy little soldiers, we can do it. But like mechanically, they were defeated.
I just okay.
Hey Tom, how injured is the rebel army?
Have your Raven make a perception check.
They're not injured enough for you.
Just
back from the dead.
They're not dead, Necromancer.
I am asking because I gave the clerics blood money scrolls so they could make additional healing potions.
Okay, they won't be casting blood money. It's against their it's literally against their religion to cast.
Would they? It is not even an evil spell.
It's pretty evil, man.
It's pretty evil, man.
It's blood.
I mean, the description is not evil.
But they know how it's made, and they have problems with it.
It's bad, man.
So
even if it's their own blood they're using.
Even if it's their own blood. Okay, so like nope.
Blood magic sounds
I thought-
pretty evil.
Yeah.
I thought blood is a neutral agent, so well, if they don't want, well, if they want it, if they don't want it, then I will take it back.
So as I was saying, these guys, some of them are pretty beat up, yeah, sure, but like the main idea that you're getting away from this is mostly they're just like tired and have been fighting for a long time. There's no real like visible sign of anyone who's in command here except for like Pogue and Xandu. But like you get the feeling these guys got cut off somewhere and they've been like fighting house to house in Demir for a while. There's definitely like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people who might need some healing, but mechanically speaking, they have enough hit points to keep going.
Okay.
Okay, good to know. I would probably use the time traveling to finish off the magic item.
Okay. Is 2 hours enough to finish it?
Yeah, it would be about that.
Okay.
Time I would finish up. Then I would probably, for the time, if we do rest up his weapon next.
How does healing potions and stuff work on troops?
It works the same way.
Okay, so
It's awkward, but it still works.
I will use 2 potions of cure light wounds on the scouts.
Alright. Enderling, Lucia, Emeritus, you guys have the information. Do you guys want to advance, or...
Oh yeah.
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 Alright.
No doubt about that.
Alright. Gotcha.
When you have victory secured, you don't not send in your reserve.
Yeah, fair enough. Alright, so we'll say a couple hours pass. It becomes, again, just mostly like organized chaos as these guys all surround Xandu and Pogue trying to figure out what's going on, if they should expect more reinforcements, stuff like that. And then a couple hours roll in and the rest of your battalion rolls in and everyone's pretty like overjoyed about it. There's definitely people that see like cousins and brothers and other various miscellaneous family members, and they hug each other, happy to know that no one has like gone to be with Sarenrae yet. Before this happens, though, I should say Pogue, and they're specifically going to go to Pogue before the rest of the army gets here. You notice, well, actually, make a perception check.
Make a perception check.
Yeah, we'll see what you notice.
Everyone?
Just Pogue. Well, Xandu can. Xandu can.
All right. Let's see. Make a
Alright. Xandu is oblivious, but Pogue... Well, Xandu's not oblivious. They're not hiding it. They, you guys see your scouts make, like, very quick work as soon as the fighting stops to start, like, field stripping the bodies of the dead. Be it mostly, like, the bad guys. They leave allied forces alone, but, like, they don't wait for orders. They just dive in and start taking pretty much whatever they want. Some of them definitely, like, as you go from house to house, you might see, like, there's not a lot of wealth in this town, but, like, the odd, like, copper necklace with a little, like, crappy gem in it. Somebody might think about stealing it, but they don't. Pogue notices this, and the one in charge, they've all unveiled themselves, and she comes up and she informs you that it's the tradition of her people when, after a fight like this, for them, before any other looting happens, for them to take exactly 1/5 of whatever it is, like, left on the battlefield in terms of spoils.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take a very high sense motive check to know that, like, this is something that her people hold very near and dear to their heart,
Yeah.
and, like, questioning it might not be, like, they're not going to back down from it easy.
So Pogue says, take what you will from the enemies, but don't loot the people in the town of their belongings.
Okay. They nod. You see, like, definitively, you and even Xandu would see this. These guys don't pick up any swords they see lying on the ground. They kind of, like Lucia to holy water, they kind of, like, shy away from them, and in some cases, they'll, like, take their spears and, like, shove them away so they don't touch the swords. But everything else is fair game. It doesn't take long for these guys to strip pretty much whatever they want, and they stay true to their word. They only take 20% of everything. There's no, like, you don't stop and, like, ask Abadar to weigh the scales or anything like that. But
Right.
you can tell they're not being greedy or anything. It's just part of who they are. Anyway, the couple hours pass. Well, go ahead. Good.
Do I see anything tasty?
Make a perception check.
I did 33.
Oh, yes, you did. Okay.
Tommy, my bird, do they see any major corpses?
They do not. There's no need for a check. There were no spellcasters here. And as far as Pogue's perception check for tastiness, I hadn't really thought of that. Let's see what kind of tastiness we can find. I need to have like a random loot table ready at all times. The roguiest of all rogues. What do you find? We'll say, I don't know what I want to say here. You find a dead body. He's dressed a little more formal, and in contrast, like you're like the rebel soldiers that are male. They've all got like really scraggly, terrible beards because in Taldor, it's pretty common knowledge that only the 1% can grow facial hair. Everybody else like has to shave. But this guy has a full like beard almost down to like his sternum, and he's carrying. He died kind of like awkwardly leaning out of a window, and he's got a firearm. It appears to be like, you probably don't know a whole lot about guns. They're kind of common. They're not like everybody's got them, but like Taldor has discovered gunpowder. They've got like artillery and cannons and things that go explosion. Right. That kind of thing. So you find one musket, which is, I forget what happens when you're non-proficient, but it's a D12, 20 times 4 on the crit.
Okay.
Within the first, I think it's 40 feet. Yeah, within the first 40 feet, the attack targets the bad guy's touch armor class.
Okay. So I'll look it up because I'm not going to use it right now.
Okay, fair enough. So the 2 hours pass, and Emeritus and Ennerling and Lucia and the rest of your battalion all arrive. What happens next is up to you guys.
So I asked if
find information.
Yeah.
Okay. This whole time, and it's even more so now that like your full battalion has arrived, and your healers begin setting to work, either burying the dead in place or healing who they can. Hang on, Donald. All the guys you found here in Demir are still just kind of like dying for information. It becomes pretty much even more so now that there's like horses and llamias moving through. Just total chaos as people are just trying to figure out what is going on. No, go ahead, Donald.
How many guns are on the battlefield we could pick up?
We'll roll for it.
What I have in mind, if we have enough guns, we could probably hire a gun trainer from the multiverse merchants to train the infantry to use them.
That's a thought. Unfortunately, I rolled pretty low, so all of the guns laying around, you can find them, but a lot of them are pretty busted up. A lot of them, they don't function off like black powder like our guns do so much as it's like an alchemical cartridge. So we can justify firing 3 shots out of a musket in 6 seconds, but that's neither here nor there. You can find them, you can loot them, but a lot of them are broken, and a lot of the ammo is like busted up as well.
So we could sell. So how about we just take the busted ammo and guns and just sell it to make a bit of a profit to buy new gear for the troops?
It is a thought.
That might be your best bet.
Yeah, both firearms, even the primitive ones, are worth quite a bit of money in the rulebook, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but like off-core rulebook, in the Empire, again, firearms aren't uncommon. We're sitting at, and I'm not just saying this because in Discord we're talking about the Battle of Vienna, but actually I'm saying it because of Pogue's backstory. Firearms are like, you're not going to necessarily find Imperial archers as much as you're going to find dudes with guns. It's pretty common, and thus the price will probably be reduced.
Do they have a boat?
They don't have a boat. There is no boat.
Now.
You feel what?
I feel vindicated now because when I was suggesting the cavalry formation, I was basing it off of the way cavalry is implemented in a pike and shot formation.
Uh-huh.
What I had in mind, if you had enough working guns, we could have rifle units such as the Japanese Asugaru matchlock units that were used historically quite well.
It is entirely possible, yeah.
So what?
For dragons and stuff.
Hmm.
If we were to use it how the Ottomans would, we would have them in fixed positions.
So what do
The Gustavian formation where they advance.
So what is everyone's opinion on the guns? Keep them or sell them?
Keep them.
You said they were busted up, though.
Yeah. Conveniently enough,
The Smith can't fish.
the fishing smith. Conveniently enough, the only one that's in full working condition is the one that Pogue has. But again, it's everybody's just kind of looking to you guys for information. It's still just like complete chaos.
All right, I asked whoever about if they've seen any or heard anything of a Cheliax prince.
Okay. Let's roll percentage dice.
I would probably help Poe out in this matter as well, if it's relevant.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll roll a second percentage dice. They know pretty much what you guys know. They know that a little while ago he was in under like rebel custody, and then the Taldons marched their army across the border, and it's gone to chaos. They have no idea where he is. They tell you guys that they've been cut off from the main body of their battalion for quite a while, probably like several days. Just kind of like holed up in this town, and their story is corroborated by the fact that there are several other dead bodies that like you guys didn't kill laying around this place. They're just as lost as you are.
So the Taldans have taken them across the border, do we think, or no?
It's entirely possible, but they have no idea. They have about as much of a clue as, like I said, like you guys do.
What do you guys think? I mean, we could traipse around this country forever. We could go up to Taldor and see.
You do know, like, there will be more Imperial soldiers crossing the border. And I'm not just saying this to railroad you guys, but I'm pretty sure I had established that a couple sessions ago when we were back here. Like, they've sent the local garrisons that they've had ready across the border, but like, if the prince isn't rapidly recovered, they're gonna send more and more and more and more, because like, Cheliax is a client state of the Taldon Empire, and they can like, Taldor can use this like to their advantage. Like, oh, we rescued one of your noble sons, blah blah blah, that kind of thing.
So can Andu go around and help asking with people too?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Well, our options
I have no idea what I roll for that.
I'll roll percentage dice.
Seem to be
What you saying, Kane? You're cutting out.
I wasn't talking. I was waiting for you to finish up.
Fair enough.
Our options seem to either be to we'll take him the hell out of here, or hole up in a fortress on the border and repel all who would come for it.
I can actually do something, as long as I have an hour to change some of my spells. I could use a spell blood biography to learn more about what information the slain enemy knows.
No one has any idea, Van, whether or not he's been taken across the border. It's possible.
Well,
It's all a huge mess. Let me see how blood biography reads rather. Blah. He might be.
It says a certain amount of questions.
You would need his blood or his blood stain to do it, and you don't have that.
Okay. What about the of blood for me to use?
With the what? I'm sorry.
Oh, for the fine, could I use that blood to ask them questions?
You cannot. Also,
Oh,
I'm not quite sure how this works. One sec. I've never had to use it here. Okay, yeah, so the spell Mind Blank, I usually just use it to become immune to scrying. He's also immune to blood biography because it's divination. Any divination that would try to target Prince Yuma will automatically fail.
okay, so what about asking the dead corpses question about the prince's location or any relevant question like that? Could that be done using blood biography on those dead food we killed?
That is a thought, yeah. Let me see how that reads exactly. I imagine, yeah, I don't see why you can't.
This is my first time using this
Yeah.
spell, so
Yeah, same here. As a will to negate. Cast spell. Okay, yeah, sure, you can do that. Well, hang on. No, you can't. The questions you get are who are you, what are you, how was your blood shed, and when was your blood shed, so you would know that they are Imperial soldiers that were killed not too long ago by you.
okay, that's a shame. Can I actually know who they are, and then use that relevant information? What a shame.
So, nobody's seen anything in terms of a group coming through. Heard any rumors or?
They
Can you
haven't.
sense motive to figure out if any of them are hiding information?
They haven't heard anything. Pogue, Xandu, yes, you can. You don't think that they are. You think, hang on, Donald. You think that everybody is, like, again, they've just been hung up here, fighting back and forth through this town. What were you going to say, Donald?
What about if I ask the clerics about the location of the prince associates, if they are close to the prince? Use them as a proxy in a way.
It's a thought. Yeah, I'll roll percentage dice. It's going to have to be pretty high. Yeah, no, they've been mind blanked as well because they're, like, in the direct.
Well, we don't know.
You might be. You imagine, like, the Ulthen who are assigned directly to a Chelish noble person are definitely mind blanked, but, like, if you had any idea, like, a particular Hell Knight that might be hanging out with them, they might not necessarily be mind blanked.
So would I know any type of Hell Knights that would accompany the prince, or that beyond my knowledge?
Make a knowledge check. Your call which?
Let's see, Hell Knights, that would be knowledge history.
Sure, yeah, that works. Go ahead and roll it. 14. You don't really. Everybody looks the same in Hell Knight plate, I guess is the best way to word that.
Yeah, I guess all the Hell Knight's armor have a familiar pattern, so you can't tell who is who unless you know their voice.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a knowledge check that, and I'm thinking in terms of local history, that type of thing, to think of the history of the area, of the nobles have come through before where they might have been held, or you know, that kind of thing, or where an invading army might set up a camp.
It's a thought.
Because of certain geographic features that, like.
Yeah.
Another thought would be knowledge arcana to see if there are any mystical artifacts that the army would be interested in the area.
Okay, yeah, both are a thought. You guys go ahead and roll them.
All right, so what am I doing? Geography?
If that's what you want to do, yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So you know.
And I can roll Arcana too.
Okay. Go ahead and you roll too, Xander. We'll see what we come up with here. All right. So you know, there's a mine about. I'm not gonna like sit here and count hexes, but I imagine it's about a day's march south, where it's more of the same. There's lots of rich mineral deposits. Everything from gold and silver to mithril and adamantine is mined. Like in excess in this part of Kadira, and again, a lot of people are worked like to the bone mining it. If somebody wanted to hole up, they could hole up in a mine. As far as Arcana goes, there's nothing really like super magical about like why an army might want to come here. It might just be like a Chelish prince coming very far away from home into like behind enemy lines. The Knowledge Arcana will give you that it's suspicious, that's for sure. But you don't think there's like they've come to find like a Vorpal greatsword that's buried under a mountain or something like that.
Why would
everybody has religion? Because if it's not arcane magic, it could be divine magic that they're after.
What about druid magic? Nature, knowledge nature.
Yeah. The religion check, again, you get the feeling that if like he's here, he might be here to escape persecution from people who worship Asmodeus on the other side of the continent. It could be that he was like sent here to like, we'll throw him here into this backwater country and somebody will kill him and he can go away without getting our hands dirty. That kind of thing. The nature check is more of maybe he's come to inspect like shipments of adamantine and mithril and gold and stuff across the empire. Maybe that's what he's doing here. That's pretty much the only like outstanding reason why somebody would want to come here from a natural sense.
Does anyone have knowledge nobility?
I do.
I do. Tommy, if I use knowledge planes, could I think of an outsider that could help us track the prince down?
Yeah, go for it. All knowledge checks are good. If you want to roll knowledge nobility. I see Sarah rolling.
Because you gave me a thumbs up. I thought you wanted
Hey, yes, I do want you to roll. Alright, so I shouldn't have said any of them, because now knowledge checks are getting vomited at me. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to use my hero point on my roll.
Okay, sure.
So, 2 evil.
Okay. Alrighty, so you, let's
26.
Let's see here. So we start at that 19. You guys basically come up with the same basic answers. Yumil might be here because somebody teleported him here to like get rid of him, or maybe he came to join the revolution, or maybe he's here inspecting shipments, or maybe he's come here to fight the rebellion. It's all very like unclear. It's very out of character for an introverted little princeling to do this, that's for sure. And it's very out of character for him to go like you guys have been, the revolution's been going on for 2 weeks, a little more than 2 weeks, probably closer to a month. 2 weeks for you guys, a month for everybody else. And like Cheliax hasn't mobilized its armies. It's not really, I'm not going to say suspicious that they haven't mobilized their armies, but like they're not being the like most friendly of client states. If that makes sense to everybody, if that's about as clear as mud.
that is
Does knowledge local give me anything better?
Did you roll it?
21.
Yes, that's a 21.
Is it? Oh, I see it. Okay. Again, it's the strongest lead might be that mithril mine, or mithril. Yeah, sure, we'll call it a mithril mine at the very bottom of the map. In terms of like what's going on in this part of the world, otherwise it's like little farm communities, like way off out in the middle of like arid grasslands and deserts and mountains and stuff. There's any town in the region that's anything worth noting is about the size of the town you guys are in now, which was like before it's been evacuated, about 2,000 people. The fort you guys came from is it's an old like throwback to when Taldor had first invaded the region and they set up that fort to like base their operations out of. It's not like in disrepair, it's not falling apart, but it's not really important either. Just kind of an old relic that still functions.
Right. So, do we think he's still here?
You think that
That's a
it's
big question.
you think it's a possibility?
No, I mean I'm asking the rest of the team. Right. I'm asking the rest of the party. Like, you guys, do you think that he's still here? And we should go towards the mine?
Knowing the prince, do I know his thinking pattern to think where he may hide?
Well,
Based off all the knowledge checks that have been rolled, Donald, if he's
my
here,
best guess is mine.
yeah, pretty much. But again, he could be anywhere. That best guess is probably like a 65%. Because this is like, you could go step out a couple hours or like wander into the foothills or get like over the horizon and suddenly thousands of people are killing thousands of people. You don't hear anything like that right now, but you know there's like, you guys are not far from a battlefield. You're technically on one now.
Right. But we also know we'll be going through a couple of towns.
Mm-hmm. And those towns might be just the same as this one here.
Right. Or they may have seen something.
Yeah, that's true.
Otherwise, we go straight into Taldor. Those are kind of our options. We go to Taldor to find them. We come down here to find them.
Well, I feel like bringing any sort of military force into Taldor might be a mistake.
Yeah, that is, again, no one needs to make a check to know that one. If you guys march with these guys, you're about 1,200 men. If you were to march those guys across the border, somebody, like, somewhere would get a little, like, ping in the back of his mind from a permanent alarm spell along the border, and you guys would just be like, soldiers would teleport to your location, and your death would be quick and painful.
Right. Why don't we use the soldiers to search the countryside here?
Okay.
To come with us, and as the suggestion Pogue is making, and then if we need to sneak into Taldor to find them, then I know at least one of us can sneak and knows their way around Taldor.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Being that's where Pogue is from.
Sure. Okay. So how do we want to do that, like, mechanically, in terms of what's going on the board? About 6 hours have passed since you guys left the fort, so it's like 4 in the afternoon right now. Yeah, I need to write that down because I will forget.
We march down to the mine.
Is that...
They hit Shah Bashir?
That is...
Going south would probably be the quickest way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we want to do the same kind of movement that we did before, or do we want to... everybody goes
I
one?
think we should.
Just in all in one.
We need to keep our troops closer to the scouts. It's kind of ridiculous having 2 hours separation between us.
Yeah, I agree. I think the
the
idea
scouts need to be less than an hour away from us.
Yeah. Well, I would have held back, except that I was watching. If we had come across a army at rest, then I would. It was, somebody, going at it with our allies.
Yeah.
But,
I just think that you're too far separated and
Sure.
you're too vulnerable.
I agree.
And also, mechanically speaking, all of the troops have about, like, 40 hit points-ish, so...
Yeah. Which means Pogue has more than the group does.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy's throwing shit.
Tommy's not throwing shit.
He's angry.
Tommy, angry. Yeah, troops are weird. Mass combat is weird in Pathfinder, but I'm very committed to figuring out how we're going to make it work because I really like it. So now we're trying troops.
For me.
I guess I could have given them like 1,000 hit points, but then we'd be here forever as they're slinging like 1d6 plus 5 back and forth. Woo!
Well, I think, because, hit points are sort of like an abstract concept when they're against each other, but it kind of, it weirds out when you have, like, a battalion of 40 dudes with pikes against one level 8 druid who slings a rock into the middle of them, and all of a sudden,
And they all flee because they all know that you're way more powerful than they are, and their morale breaks.
effectively, like 12 of them are dead.
It just makes it
As
just,
I rocket a single stone through the heads of like half a dozen men.
Oh my god!
it just makes it more epic,
Yeah, pretty much.
right? The epic druid.
Yeah.
Or worse yet, Enderling like brutally eviscerates a dozen men by himself.
Right.
Yeah, we did that back in the prison. Just put Enderling in the river and have them all just move up to the river and you'll just handle it. He'll just pop out and then be done.
I am unassailable.
Unassailable!
He looks up at Enderling and says, "Hey, you're going to be going over a river."
Excellent.
Oh yeah, with Enderling's bite attack, it's like throwing a great white shark in a kiddie pool.
Maybe Jesus. Maybe there'll be boats on it.
Especially because I have feral combat, and that moves my bite attack up with a large 2d6.
Disgusting.
Do
And
you have
then
any,
the boat
do you have any
helps-
style feats? Did you take feral weapon training?
No, I don't think I really can. I don't have like the attack bonus to like confidently move that up. Because I'm an alchemist, I have a trash attack bonus.
Right. Word.
Trash, man.
Like
Yeah,
again,
that was trash.
you're preaching to the choir here. You and I basically played the same character, except you're a stag and I was a human.
All right.
So what do we guys? What do we guys? What do we guys? What do you guys want to do?
Hey guys, I'm not
I mean, I'm good to just move south.
But do we want to move south with just every single solitary person? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us, yeah.
All of us.
Yeah, we might as well.
Yeah, at this
Are we
point, it's
talking
just a
all the
mark.
player characters or like everyone, including troops?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Including the soldiers, yeah, everybody.
Everybody move south. Okay, got it. So then that's
Well, should we leave some people behind to defend the town we just saved?
Well, there's the people that was in the town before. They was defending it before we got there.
they look. Yeah, they're gonna follow you. You guys get another. You're not gonna need their sheet in 10 minutes, but you guys have another infantry troop of about like 250 men that are gonna follow you.
Okay, well I suppose fuck this town then.
Yeah.
All right, fair
That'll
enough.
be fine.
So you guys move. I'm gonna just grab Xandu. Xandu is the lucky boy. Around like when you guys hit this bridge, it gets to like around here. It starts getting dark. The 4 hours pass. The 4 hours pass, and unless somebody like wants to make checks or something, nothing happens. It's really quiet again, except for the sounds of like marching soldiers. Nothing jumps out and attacks you.
So what time is it?
What kind of checks? Why would you bring it up unless to make me nervous?
Like, if we wanted to roll a nat,
Did I miss something?
No, you didn't miss anything. Everybody is moving south.
Oh, you didn't.
Everybody has moved 4 hours south, and this is where it's
share.
right about here. It starts getting dark.
Okay, during
So
that
what
fourth,
time is it?
during.
Okay, hold on. Donald first, then Colin.
During the 4 hours, I would probably work on Francis' weapon.
Okay, one thing I should say is during these 4 hours, you don't have time to stop, nor do you have a place to like stop and work comfortably, which is what you need to craft items.
Well, what about Marcosius' great wagon?
Do you want him?
You can craft on the road. It's just at like half speed.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Got it. Never mind then. Now, Colin, what was your question?
If it's dark already, what time is it?
It's like, it's not full dark. It's like getting dark. It's like 8 p.m. ish.
It's like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
The sun goes down at 8 p.m. where you are?
No, I forgot I'm talking to a bunch of Canadians.
Southern hemisphere near the equator
Yeah.
in a desert. Oh,
yesterday the sunset was like 4:45 or something.
Yeah, for him it's like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, for me it's like 4 o'clock.
And
yeah, in
this,
Missouri, it can get to like 9 o'clock before the sun gets down.
Yeah.
In like the summertime, yeah.
Dude,
oh my God, no, Michigan, 10 p.m. because it's on the East Coast. It's Eastern time still.
Mm.
but it's way, way, way on the far west. So 10 p.m. you try to put your kids to bed, and they're like, "But Dad, it's still light out." It's
How
like,
do
"I don't
you
care."
even sleep? Where do you live?
I don't live there now. I live. So
You go to bed late, get up early.
You know
Yeah.
what the biggest source of depression in my country is? Seasonal affective disorder.
yeah.
It's a real thing.
You know what
Source of depression in our
SAD makes
country.
you? It makes you sad.
Yes.
The
No.
biggest source of depression in the United States is political
Politics.
system. So
I
True.
was gonna say
you're lucky
McDonald's.
there.
So yeah.
So perhaps a knowledge local to see if we know anything about Shabashir.
Go. Yeah, you got it. Oh, is that 21 there? Is that what that is?
I'll aid another.
Yeah, you will. The second time you've rolled dice this session.
Woo!
But,
Well, I should-
I'm
No,
gonna
It should
aid-
probably be the other way around because my knowledge local.
Woo!
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows everything there is. About time.
Beats the shit out of you. You're bad.
What are you talking about? I know all about it.
Okay, so
Told ya.
it's kind of just a little dumb farm town that's it's sat next to the bridge, and they get enough traffic going through like across the border to where it's like a thriving trade town. I almost tripped over that really hard, but at the same time, like, it's just a dumb little farm community. Nobody's really built it up. They're just happy to, like, they get an excess of income a couple times a year, and then they blow it on like dumb trinkets and like ale, and they have a really good couple of weeks, and then Pete. Yeah, okay, thanks. Somebody nat 20'd. Sarah nat 20'd here at the end of days, the second time she rolled dice tonight. I will say, okay, Sarah, you see at your feet, and you don't know how you didn't notice these, you see booted humanoid footprints that are like, I know what they are, I'm trying to describe it better. You imagine you could like lay down in this footprint, that's how big it is, and it would go like your stomach down, would be able to fit in it. Easy peasy. The grass is trampled. Like, it doesn't look like somebody was just like charging through here, but it looks like something really big moved through here.
Huh. Okay.
I should also say, you bend down to examine this, and the grass, it kind of like, you kind of get a little like wintertime static when you touch the grass, like a little bit of like residual electricity has been built up in the grass. It doesn't, like, there's no damage. It's just kind of, that hurt, that kind of thing. And as you find more of these tracks, it's more of the same. Like, you touch these, like, you move around. Like, even, like, getting close, the hairs on your arm would, like, stand up.
Okay.
The tracks are pretty fresh.
Sharing this?
Are you sharing it?
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna be like, hey guys, big footprints.
What?
Check it out. What I found.
Andu is going to take a look at these
Okay, go for it.
and perhaps knowledge arcana to figure out what the heck this could be.
Sure, go for it.
I will roll for that as well.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm also gonna roll for that.
Aw,
That's
man.
weird.
Bam. I did that.
Sorry. Ba-boom. 29 survival.
Has everybody rolled that wants to roll? There we go. Okay. Alright, so let me make heads or tails of
Oh, dang.
what's going on. Okay, so the people who rolled Arcana, you know that people exist, especially Xandu, people exist who have, shut up, Joe. People exist that, like, through different, like, lineages and different, like, things in their past that have intermingled with their blood, it can influence them and, like, how they grow and, like, powers that might develop. And you get the feeling that these giant footprints were made by somebody who has, like, you're not sure exactly what, but some sort of, like, something to do with electricity had intermingled with their blood at some point in time. And it's so powerful that it's it's well above your average, like, somebody who's got, like, a little drop of, like, a draconic sorcerer or something like that. Like, it is a very, 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 very powerful aura of electricity, essentially. And it's like, so powerful that it feels like it comes from more than one source. Like, you begin to, like, you put your finger on it, and, like, you get the feeling that it might be, like, maybe, like, somebody who's like half an air elemental might have moved through here, and then you're like, no, this feels like a dragon, and it, like, you bounce back and forth.
You should
Exactly what it is.
go the other direction.
No, I didn't
Oh, my God.
No.
I mean, listen, we can follow it. I
You'll be
choose
fine.
my survival to track it.
You can,
Go.
It's fine.
yeah. Shit. Okay. Yeah. The survival check. You can definitely, even like the dumb human fighter with his finger up his nose can track these things. They're not hard to find them. What else? Nature check. This is not something that exists in nature. It's bigger than a giant's footprint. Is that all the checks? Have I hit everything?
Is it
Whenever we roll-
possible that he's 26 feet tall?
Ish.
Yeah. I'm gonna track him at full speed then.
Hey, I know what
Oh,
he is.
shit.
All right. Somewhere I have a backstory and I need to go get it.
Dig it out, Tommy.
Hold on. I think it's in this drawer. It might be. Hang on. I gotta find a backstory. It's in this drawer. There's the big book of Celts. I'm familiar enough with it, I can paraphrase. Okay, so very, 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 very far to the north here, where Enderling is from, and Xandu would know this probably a little better than the guy who crit, but, like, even amongst the Ulfin...
Pogue has been around.
Yeah, apparently. Even amongst the Ulfin, there are different, like, cultures that don't necessarily interact with the, like, other, like, people living in the lands of the Norm Kings. Specifically speaking, there's an island, a chain of islands, like, just a couple days off the coast, and it is known as Briatane. And, there's a lot of, like, kind of mythology, kind of legend, kind of, like, mixed in between about how, like, a long time ago a blue dragon went there and sired, like, his own human heirs, ran a bunch of elves off the island, and, like, basically, like, built like a tribe of warriors, more or less. This is, again, it's kind of mythology. It's kind of, like, where legend blends into mythology, I guess, more, or where, like, history blends into mythology, I guess I should say.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But, like, these tracks prove that that is real, that happened, because what else could do it? Because you crit, what do I want to do? Because you crit, what we're going to do is we're going to, you find...
Tell me he's looking for the prince.
You find a longsword.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you know what? You actually, your guys' token is pretty close to the river, so what I'm going to say is, you don't find a longsword, but you find there's a rebel body floating, like, as you guys are looking through this, it floats down the river, and it's been cut, like sternum to hip. Like, essentially what looks like in one big slash, out of, like half an X down its body, essentially. It took something really, really, really powerful to do this. I won't necessarily hand you the longsword, but I will, I need to do a little better, you crit.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, that's fucking gross.
By the natural 20, I'm gonna say that you get the feeling because you see one of, like, a friendly soldier pretty much eviscerated by this guy, you get the feeling this guy is not on your side.
Good enough. What's the name of the thing?
What's the name? Which thing? There were several things. The place he's from?
Guy.
What, a storm giant?
You don't know his name. Well,
I mean,
you know his.
we think he's a...
You think he's from? And I bet I'm gonna. Joe, will you spell it? Can you spell the name of the country? I always put too many H's in it.
Of the island?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm typing in caps.
He's excited.
It's all the same, really.
I mean, I can't blame him for being excited.
What he,
Pronounced like.
Britain? Yeah, it sounds like a Gaelic word. Britain.
Mm.
And this guy is a storm giant, you think?
You think he's, like I said, a long time ago, the story was a blue dragon flew to this island and ran off a bunch of elves and amongst the local humans, like, sired essentially like a royal bloodline. So you think this guy is, like, He might be a full half dragon. He might be something like a sorcerer, or probably more accurately a blood rager with something like a draconic bloodline. But again, it's still like you can't quite put your finger on it. It feels like at the same time the people who are arcanaing at the footprints, they get like the drift of like maybe this was an air elemental. No, it had to be a dragon. No, wait a minute, and you like bounce back and forth like that.
I am thinking we should turn around and go the other direction, away from.
Nah. What's the worst that could happen?
He's a nice guy. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy that cut half. No, thank you.
It's okay. He's lawful neutral.
Oh,
He's
I
straight
was
out
just
his
gonna say,
chaotic
the
good.
lot of you just defeated a fucking 20th level cleric in 5th level. I'm pretty sure.
Well, he's 24 levels, and
24 levels?
and he's defeated Cthulhu in 2 shots. So.
Oh, good lord.
This is what happens when my players leave their character sheets at my house.
I've seen
Pug-
Dawn Chad, and every time I see it, I keep thinking of Meredith from Brave.
I know.
Yeah.
Pug looks up at
Your feet.
Pug looks up at Enderling and goes, "Oh, we can take him, right, big guy?"
Nope.
Oh, there.
The storm giants.
Well,
I think we can handle it.
you guys can always summon those will-o-wisps again, so it can do electricity damage to it.
But
I mean, if we've cowed the mighty Enderling, I'm on board with leaving him the fuck alone.
Maybe there's a boat nearby.
I don't think that's gonna do it for you.
It would for Enderling.
For a 24th level giant?
this man has flipped boats before.
Yeah, he has. And this was at like 7th.
Boats.
Uh-oh.
Sid meet his own father's heart. Or his brain, that was his brain.
Yeah, he ate his own daddy's brain. I was there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think so more than 1,000. My ass.
All right.
There was a
I
oh, you got
never-
temporary hit points or
400.
something. That's what he in the fight against.
So it
He's
sounds
a
like
nice guy.
I guess I should say there were a lot of dice rolls. I should put it out there that if there's an Ulfin running around and he's killing rebels, you are sure the prince is connected to this in some way, shape, or form. You imagine this guy might be like the prince's personal bodyguard. So this is although it's super scary, it's very, very scary. It's definitely like the biggest, pun not intended, the biggest clue you've found like since you've been out running around here.
and which direction are these feet pointing?
That way.
Well, okay.
There we go.
I did get like basically a 30 on survival, so I feel like we can follow this no matter what.
Yeah, you totally can. Like I said, even like the idiot with his finger up his nose just kind of walking around, I'm in the army, woohoo! Yeah, he's gonna see these. He's gonna feel them if he steps in them.
So Pogue tripped and fell in a hole. And who's putting potholes on the road? And somebody goes, "Those aren't potholes; those are footprints." Or something like that, right?
That's a big human.
We're gonna need a bigger road.
It's not a moon; it's a spaceship.
We're gonna need a bigger chariot.
You guys are close enough to the bridge. I'll also say that like when you guys get to that bridge that obviously wouldn't support this guy, it'll support you guys like 2 or 3 across, going across it. Like the tracks stop abruptly, and you get the feeling this guy like flew over.
Just walked across.
Just like flew over the top.
He Jesus his way over.
Blue.
He flies.
Flies.
Yeah, he's happy.
Flies. What is this? You've got so much.
He ate his grandfather's brain.
What does this mean? How do you know this? Have you run into him
He
before?
played.
You played him. I mean, have you run into him before in this game?
Yeah.
Oh no. just metagaming.
No.
I mean, we
But Pogue
When it's your character, it's not
everything about
metagaming.
him, though. Pogue knows the whole history.
Francis doesn't know any of this.
He ate his grandfather's brain, Francis.
And through that gained like his full draconic potential. Like it was the day that he slayed his.
That's the liver.
It's actually it wasn't necessarily grandfather so much as like great. I've lost count. Hang on. Great grandfather, and then I still don't know why, but and ate his brain, and then this like caused him to like manifest his full draconic like potential.
Well, because in usual Joe fashion, I fucked up your story.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't he like one shot the cat chef?
Yeah. Also, he one shot a cat chef.
A cat shed in the
You know,
gimp
not
suit.
Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. That cat chef could have had one hit die.
I murdered a cat in a gimp suit.
It probably did have one hit dice, but we digress. We digress hard. Van, their references from an old game that Sarah and Joe and me were in, that I GM'd for. Actually, is that he got to 24th, and I got to take a campaign from 1 to 20 plus. It was sweet. But hey, what do we want to do now?
This big guy is running about. I feel like perhaps leading an army into here is not the best idea.
It is a thought.
It's fine. Does everyone get the feeling that it's fine?
You're not sure. Again, I'm also going to say, like, by the time you, like, obviously that bridge isn't 1 hour of travel to get across the damn thing, but, like, by the time you move through that hex, it will be dark out.
Yeah, we should sleep.
Okay.
Why don't we make camp on the bridge?
Okay, deal. Is that where we're calling it for tonight? I see it's after 10.
I'm good with
10
that.
o'clock.
I say that's a good place.
Alright, cool. Then we will call it here. Thanks, guys, for watching, and we will see you in a week. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Say bye better than that, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, yeah, thank you.